Stay at the Inn at the Mill, 479-443-1800, or visit inatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
Wheeler Power Sports has their showroom packed to help you jumpstart your spring adventures. Off-road accessories such as sound bars, light bars, roofs, windshield, wheel, tire kits, and more. Looking for a new off-road or street vehicle? They are loaded with Polaris, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Kimco, and KO units. Give them a call at 479-783-5822. Online at WheelerPowersports.com. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of seeing some strong to severe storms across the north today. We could see 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail, upper 80s. Dry further south, mid-80s. We'll get widespread showers and thunderstorms moving in tonight. Overnight lows, mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith, from the Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
The 0-1 to Hines. Ground ball, right side. Holtz in the outfield. Sliding stop. Backhand. Fires to first. What a play by Peyton Holt to wrap this thing up. And this one, this weekend, the entire weekend, all 3 games belong to the Razorbacks.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
And welcome in to a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush as Arkansas gets back-to-back wins, series wins in Starkville, Mississippi. You did it in 2021 and you sweep them in 2023. They had outfield issues. They had infield issues. You didn't have many issues this weekend. Started off strong in game number 1. You got them in a run ruling in game 2, and then you closed out in game number 3. Here's our hot take as we start out here on a Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV. Arkansas is going to win the SEC outright. You got South Carolina and Vanderbilt these next 2 series. You get the Gamecocks at home this weekend, and you'll travel to Hawkins Field to Nashville to take on the Doors. You're tied with Vanderbilt right now for the leaderboard in the SEC at 17-7. By the way, the same record that you had in 2021 through 24 games at this point in time. The year you didn't lose an SEC series, the year that you dominated throughout, Kevin Kopp's Golden Spikes Award winner, that year. You got the same record with all these injuries you've had to deal with. Pitching, infield, outfield, all these things you've had to deal with. You were sitting at the top of the SEC West after losing to a team 2-1 series-wise in LSU that was above, and you still are above them right now after they lose to Auburn this weekend in their series. That's my hot take this morning. Arkansas is going to find a way and get these additions back, guys they've been missing. They're going to win the SEC outright. We're going to get to that coming up again. Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV in Springdale and in Northwest Arkansas. They just added Brinkley RV. Chris, Lee J, Shane, everyone over there can help you, whether it's a Brinkley RV, whether it's a Grand Design, Forest River. They're going to help you out. But you need to come check out the Brinkley Model Z. It's the latest luxury fifth wheel. And like always, you're always going to get that lifetime warranty to help you with your confidence when you're out on the road at Wheels RV. They've been voted the best RV dealer year after year. 5 miles west off Exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. How about it, man? How about Hagen Smith, Adcock, Gage Wood on Friday? How about Kendall Diggs this weekend, who was just lethal at the plate? Could not be stopped. Grand salami, getting hit after hit. Game 2, yo, you went 6 of 7 from leading off the inning. 6 of 7. Only one inning did you not start with a hit. Think about that. Only one inning during that game. And then game 3, you figured it out too. I mean, you have Jace Borfin, Kendall Diggs, a grand slam that I mentioned. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome to see this baseball team do what it did this weekend. And albeit, that's not a good team you played. Mississippi State is struggling right now. But there was still $30,000 that showed up in Starkville this weekend at Dudy Noble over the course of 3 days. I think they're expecting better performances from their baseball club, and they didn't get it. There were errors, there were miscues, they messed up, but on the other side, on your baseball team, talk about the infield. My goodness gracious, John Bolden was unbelievable throughout this series, making defensive plays. There was one that they gave him an error. Dave was talking about this after the game, and the only reason they really gave him an error is because he had made play after play. It was almost expected that, hey, you have to make this backhand falling away throw to Brady Slavens at first. He was awesome in the field. Love seeing that from him. Liked what I saw from Holt and some of the other guys that don't consistently play as much because of the injury situation with Stovall, some of the other outfielders. But I think Dave Van Horn was very encouraged, Christian, on how his team performed this weekend, deservedly so.
Yeah, like you said, going into this series, we knew Mississippi State wasn't very good, but we knew they were good enough to beat you.
Yeah, they were...
they were plenty good enough to beat you, and Arkansas went up there and did their job. I mean, they swept Mississippi State, and you had players step up like McLaughlin. I mean, he had a great series, and we know what Brady Slavens did, 3 home runs. So we got to give them credit, man. They went up there to Dudy Noble and got it done, and that was a big series sweep, in my opinion. For this whole season, the morale of the season.
Yeah, on the subject of McLaughlin, I don't know if he's in Charlie Welch category just yet, but I think he is starting to earn the trust of Nate Thompson, Dave Van Horn, in situations where he needs to pitch hit or something like that. The way he is hitting the baseball over 300 now, they're going to have to find situations for him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be still a starter at this point when Josenberger comes back, when Wagner comes back, when Stovall comes back. I don't know if you can go to that extent, but he's hitting the ball really, really well. And I think that's encouraging that you have a guy you feel confident in if a guy's having a dry spell during the course of a game or during the course of a series or regional Hoover, whatever the case may be, that you feel confident that McLaughlin can get in there and get the bat to the barrel. We got a lot of things to get to this morning, and you're welcome to jump in 877-377-6963. Nate already texting us this morning how encouraging it is to see back-to-back sweeps in Starkville, Mississippi. You got to remember, when you swept them 2 years ago, they went on to win the national championship. This team is not going to make postseason. It looks like it's a completely different world from where we were 2 years ago to where we are now. But this baseball team, your baseball team, is getting hot. The 3 straight wins against Mississippi State, beating the Aggies the way you did. I mean, I like where this baseball team is right now, and I think you should too. And now you get South Carolina coming in, who's I think 14-9 in the Southeastern Conference, if I remember that right. Yeah, 14-9, and they are 36-11 overall. Arkansas sits at 36-12 and 17-7. You've won 3 straight, so again, that's something that it is encouraging, and people are excited about the fact that you like where this baseball team is at this point in time. Again, jump in here if you want. We got Chuck coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Excited to hear what he has to say. His Cardinals ended up finally breaking out of an 8-game winning streak, so I was encouraged again to see this baseball team, Christian, get on this run this weekend in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah, nobody expected them to go up there and sweep. At least I didn't, and they proved us wrong, and they had almost no problem doing it. I mean, the first game was close. The third game got close at points, but it never really felt like they were out of control of that series. Mississippi State, they were just outmatched. I thought they'd put up a little bit more of a fight. They kind of did in Game 3, but, yeah, Mississippi State's in danger of missing the SEC tournament for 2 years in a row. I heard Phil say that on the broadcast. So, man, after winning the national championship, it hasn't been good for them.
Yeah. Phil was really good this weekend. by the way. He always is, but I thought he did a really good job detailing during the course of a game. I love listening to him, man. And what I'll do, and I do this with Chuck and Quinn and Gino, I do this with Chuck and Z, and I do this with Phil, or I do this with Phil and Bubba, is I'll turn on the television and have the radio going. It's a little off. I know for certain people you have the chance to match it up with DVR or whatever, but yeah, I thought Phil was really, really good from Starkville this weekend. I'll tell you what else is really good, is that's our friend Ben Thomas over at World Wireless. Give him a call at 877-305-DISH, 877-305-3474. You can lock in your price for 2 years. Price ain't going to fluctuate. You'll get exactly what you paid for on day one to what you paid for, I guess, 365 times 2, the last day of that. So again, take advantage of that great deal going on right now. Whole home DVR service, high def in every room. You get movie channels free for the first 90 days, and you get free local installation from a local company. Again, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for Wow World Wireless. They do also repair vacuums as well. I know a lot of people want to take advantage of that. All right, when we come back, let's get into some more Arkansas football and basketball news coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pasco. A Pasco Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up.
This hour of the
Professional people, professional service, Pasco Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopasco.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment, not having enough home time, feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Phil Hicks in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, gents. I listen to you guys a lot. It's still the same good show it's always been. I appreciate it.
Here's the pitch. Orphan a drive to straightaway center. Ledbetter's going back. It's over his head, and it's back-to-back home runs.
Please rate and review the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Give us 5 stars to help us get our content out to the rest of the Razorback family. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Got a few texts already this morning. This one comes from B.E. in Clarksville. They had some good pitching, good hitting. He's talking about Mississippi State, but it didn't have any good defense or fielding. That was definitely the Achilles heel for the Bulldogs this weekend, is their inability to get outs in the field. Arkansas was putting the ball in play, making them clean Arkansas out, and they weren't able to. That was the huge issue this weekend.
That's a common theme, I feel like, at least lately against Arkansas. It's like teams forget how to field. Mississippi State couldn't field. Tennessee couldn't field. And I think there was one other team that just had trouble. I think Texas A&M was the other team. They didn't look.
Tennessee, too.
Yeah, Tennessee didn't look themselves on the field against Arkansas.
The difference in that was those games were in Baum Walker. This game was in Dudy Noble. Usually teams don't have these defensive lapses at home like Mississippi State did. I don't know where they rank in fielding. Christian, maybe look that up where Mississippi State is in fielding, not just in the Southeastern Conference, but overall. But man, oh man, did they make mistake after mistake. And it wasn't just the infield, y'all. It was the outfield as well. How many times did they misjudge a ball, run into each other? I mean, you know how you probably had that little league, middle school, or high school coach tell you, just put the ball in play, Johnny. Just put the ball in play and good things happen. Arkansas did that. Good things happened for the Razorbacks this weekend. And let us tell you about our friends at Mosquito Joe this morning. As the weather gets better, we're outside more and more. We're in our backyard or wherever we are in our house. They want to help you out because, again, mosquitoes, all the different bugs you have to deal with, that's part of the outdoors here in Arkansas. But not if you get Mosquito Joe to help you out. Give them a call, 479-202-9960. That's 479-202-9960. If you haven't tried them yet, what are you waiting for? Again, mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, they can help it all. They're great for restaurant and bar patios as well. Boat docks, outdoor kitchens, pools, wherever you're looking for to get rid of those pesky bugs, they can help you out. And it's like, think about this. You get this process done, and it's like having a technician 24/7 because it's an ongoing repellent. And again, they're great for anything, even horse bars as well. Tell them you heard it on ESPN Arkansas to get a special discount on a custom program or repellent system, misting system. When you call and tell them that you heard it on ESPN Arkansas, you're going to get $200 off. Again, $200 off. Again, this is the place that you want to go to if you're dealing with any type of bugs or whatever the case may be. Mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, they're going to be bad. So again, mention ESPN Arkansas for your chance to get $200 off a custom program or a repellent system today. Got another text in here. This comes from JR on our YouTube channel. And again, a reminder, you can always watch us halftime in the morning rush on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I think we're going to get Ruskin and Zach on there at some point as well, as long as those guys behave. He's talking about that DVH deserves to be in the National Coach of the Year conversation. Of course, the Arkansas fan wants their coach to be in that conversation, but to JR's point, the injuries that he has had to deal with as a head coach, and still to have the Razorbacks right now tied for Vanderbilt at the top of the SEC and sole possession after LSU wet the bed this weekend in Auburn, to have sole possession of the SEC West is pretty remarkable at this point in time based on the pitching staff injuries and the guys in the infield and outfield as well.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and it looks like they're outside the top 200, so they're not very...
So they weren't good heading into this weekend.
No, but still, the point is they weren't very good, but man, I mean, they just looked really bad this weekend. I'm sure it hasn't been great all year, apparently.
What it does is it makes you appreciate what you have. Now, last year, when you had an infield of Wallace, Moore, and Battles, and even Stovall, who was snagging them left and right and first, that was a great infield, great defensive infield. They had their hitting issues at times, but their defense was awesome. This year, y'all, it's been pretty good, too. Even inserting a guy like Holt, you had, again, John Bolden was really special defensively this series. Callie at third, and then Slavens and whoever they've had at first. They've been pretty good this year. And the pitching staff was supposed to be the strength, and it could have been. Guys have just been healthy. Now they're having to count on different guys, and they're still, again, Hagen Smith, Dog, Gage Wood, true freshman, just out there with confidence like I haven't seen a true freshman in quite some time. So there's still some strengths there in that pitching staff. I just don't think it was the amount that people necessarily expected it to be. And the hitting this weekend, was great. Yes. I mean, you were getting hits all over the park. I was giving praise to Kendall Diggs earlier. I mean, Callie, what he's done. Borfin now leads the team in home runs after his weekend. I think he passed Wagner this weekend. So, I mean, your hitting was really, really special this weekend as well.
Yeah, when they scored 14 runs, I believe that was Saturday, I was like, well, the next game's probably going to be low scoring. Well, that wasn't the case. Arkansas put up 11 runs, so the offense was just fantastic this weekend. You'd like to see that momentum kind of carry over. You got some tough series coming up, South Carolina and Vanderbilt, but I like our chances going into those.
Yeah. Gamecocks at home in Baum-Walker this weekend, and then you travel to close out your weekend. You'll go to Vandy, and then they'll hop, skip down to Hoover, about 3-hour drive from Nashville, Tennessee. Now, I told you we talk a little football and basketball news. Probably won't have time to get to basketball this segment, but I will share the latest on football. Brad Fayetteville texted in, hey, what's the deal with Varkey's Gums? Did he recommit? Apparently, Varkey's, over the weekend, recommitted to Arkansas. So the timeline, which has been kind of weird, get out of North Texas, committed to the Razorbacks, then decommitted last week, and is now recommitted, apparently. Now, I need to go back and double-check to see if he went on that official visit to Cal or if he decided not to do that. But nevertheless, you've got your tight end transfer back into the fold at this point in time. Now, again, I want to be very clear. He is not signed. The rest of the commits that you're really excited about have not signed just yet, either out of high school or transfer. So they have their option to open up their recruitment like Varkey's did this past week. But this is good, I would think, the fact that Arkansas is getting a guy that they originally wanted and now that is back in a position that is a little, there's lack of depth in terms of lack of experience, and you just don't know what you had there. You're excited about Luke Cass, and you think Nathan Bax is a capable blocker. I don't know much about his pass-catching abilities, but this is a guy that had success in college. Hopefully he can transition to the physical presence that you have to face on the line of scrimmage in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, you're glad to get a guy like this back because of how good he is. I mean, when he decommitted, you were kind of like, well, it happens. At least I was thinking that it happens, and it was a little concerning, but, you move on. But to see him come back, supposedly, it is great news. It shows that there's something good going on at Arkansas.
Yeah. We'll get into, we got a question for Brett here, the signings for the transfer players. We'll get into that. We'll bring Chuck in here, talk some baseball with him, and then come back to this football discussion. Still a lot to get to. It is a hot take Monday. What is your hot take this morning? We got plenty of them to get to throughout the next 2.5 hours of the morning rush. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Farm Credit. Do you have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? Listen, you're worried about maybe the cost rising, interest rates, whatever. Well, Farm Credit can fix that. long-term fixed rate for the life of the loan. And that offers kind of a peace of mind. Think about it. You don't want your rate going with whatever the market is, the interest. You want it to stay fixed. And again, longest terms in the ag industry, they are going to be found at Farm Credit. Go to myaglender.com, myaglender.com. Talk to Farm Credit today, an equal housing lender. Chuck Barrett joins us next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
And RoadChevy.com. Prices you'll love. People you can trust.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Let me say this. Tommy Kraft's not walking around with his shirt off. I'm certain of it. I don't care if he's dropped 20 or not. I could see maybe a couple of buttons undone on a shirt, but I don't see Tommy walking around with his shirt off. I don't see that.
That not a pleasant
Well, I'm
sight.
trying not to imagine. I'm trying not to see it.
And welcome back into a Hot Take Monday. Tommy out today. He will be back with us tomorrow. Congratulations to his youngest, who ended up finishing inside the top 15 out of 80-plus teams down there in Atlanta, Florida, the national cheer competition or whatever it's called. So congrats to the youngest Kraft. I know that he's really proud of her, and his whole family is really excited for what they did this weekend. Chuck's going to join us momentarily. It is a Hot Take Monday. It's brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They have just added Brinkley RV to their already loaded lineup with Grand Design, Forest River. Check out the new Model Z. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. You're always going to get that lifetime warranty with Wheels RV, which helps you camp with confidence. You don't want to be worrying about if something happens, am I have to pay for it? No, again, lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence at Wheels RV. They've been voted the best RV dealer year after year. Come on and see why. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Back-to-back SEC Series wins, Chuck. This one is sweep. You've swept the Dogs back-to-back year. I say back-to-back, 2021 and 2023 in Starkville. It's a good Monday morning, man.
Well, it was a taking care of business weekend, and that's what they did. Mississippi State's not very competitive right now. I was shocked by that, to be honest with you. I didn't think they competed one time over the course of the weekend, and I was really, again, just kind of surprised by that. They've thrown in the towel. But you've got to take care of those situations when you get to them. And, I mean, you've got to be workmanlike in what you do. And you can't let their lack of competitiveness lead you into complacency. And they didn't do that. I mean, they jumped on them. They did exactly what they needed to do. And, again, I was just shocked at how bad Mississippi State was. That's a bad SEC baseball team.
Chuck, you win that first game 6-2, and I'm thinking, all right, Mississippi State's at home. It's Saturday. They're going to show some pride. And what do you follow it up with? I mean, like you're saying, they didn't show anything. I mean, game 2, it was a 7-inning game after the run rule. Arkansas, I was looking at the stats. They got a hit leadoff 6 of 7 at-bats in that game, in game number 2. Kendall Diggs, who is still trying to find himself in that new leadoff role with Tavian Josenberger being out. This was his best series maybe to date. He was awesome. And everyone remembers the Grand Slam, his second of the season. But he was great all weekend, man.
He was, and it's nice to see him come alive. And now you've got 2 weekends left. Here's how I view the Mississippi State weekend. Everything you did was great. Everything you did was great. Just like in the Georgia weekend, everything you did was bad. You know, frankly, I think from a negative standpoint, if you want to use that term, I think the Georgia series was an outlier. I kind of think what we saw over the weekend, we're not going to see a team that bad again. Period, end of story. And South Carolina's fighting for their lives now. They lost to Kentucky over the weekend. And so for them, this is a big series coming into Fayetteville. And Vanderbilt suddenly looks vulnerable. And you're tied for the top spot in the league right now. Let's go win the conference. Let's get the real ring. You know, let's get the big ring. And I think that's where they are right now. And you got to keep doing it. I mean, it's great what happened this weekend. I'm not minimizing it at all. But it's going to be a lot more of a challenge this coming weekend. You're not going to play any more teams that are rolling over. So you got to be ready to go. And I like where they are. I think that, this was a big weekend in terms of conference play. A lot of things happened that we didn't see happening. I didn't see LSU going to Auburn and getting beat twice. Mm-hmm. I sure didn't see them getting run ruled in the final game. But, we've talked about this, how we're in the point in the season. I've always believed weeks 6, 7, and 8 are the danger zone if you're a good team, because you've already established yourself as one of the better teams in the conference. You've already established yourself as an NCAA tournament team. In many cases in our league, you've already established yourself as a home team for the first round. So you've got 2 or 3 weeks in there where you've got to fight through a lot of things mentally. And, for example, Arkansas didn't do a great job of that in the Georgia series. LSU didn't do a great job of that this weekend at Auburn. South Carolina seemed to be a team that could challenge Vanderbilt, and all of a sudden they've lost 2 straight weekends. So I do think you hit a point where you have to fight through it. And now you're at the point where you got 6 games left, and they're all big, and everybody's jockeying for position. So you're through all that now. And now's the point where, man, you got to flip the switch. They did a really good job this weekend, and now they've got to keep it going.
So you mentioned them being tied right now. Another stat I want to bring up, this is the same record, 17-7, that you had when you were winning every SEC series 2 years ago, and you won the SEC in 2021. So Arkansas, again, to do all this with the injuries they've had at this point. You're sitting here tied with Vandy, as Chuck said, and you think about, Dave talked about after the game, the timelines of certain guys, particularly in Josenberger and Wagner. Here's what he said about them in the coming weeks.
Wagner's getting the 2 pins out of his thumb tomorrow. Then it's kind of just up to him. So I'm hoping that he'll be taking the bat by Wednesday or something. Who knows? And I think Josenberger would tell you he's about 80, 85%. I put him on the roster, but I didn't want to run him. And they've been working extremely hard with our strength coach and our trainer, stretching and running and exercising and trying to get right. So hopefully by Wednesday we'll know if they're going to be able to go Friday.
Chuck, I hope we get some positive news on Wednesday, but I still think this team has shown that they can compete these next 2 weeks, even if something was to go wrong with the injury timelines of those 2 outfielders.
Well, one of the things I think we have to remember is that Arkansas has recruited at an elite level the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, we're 5 years, really. I mean, we're talking top 10 class after top 10 class. That means the guys that don't play a lot are still good. Look at some of the guys that played this past weekend and contributed. Unless you're a real keen observer, I think about Neville and some of those other guys. I mean, there's 1 or 2 on there you had to kind of look at the roster and say, all right, now they play for us?
Who's that?
Yeah, and but it shows you that, and Dave said this. He said, if you're not a good player, you're not going to play for us. So when we put you in, we expect you to do well. And I think that's the attitude that you have to have. Hopefully all these guys will be back this weekend. If not this weekend, maybe it'll be the next weekend. But here's the thing. This team's playing well right now, and the obligation of these injured players is not just to get themselves ready to play. It's get themselves ready to play well. Get themselves ready to step right back into a good team that's winning without them. So, getting healthy is a big part of it. Obviously, you've got to do that before you can get back out there. But, they've got good players on this team, and I think that, Dave and the coaching staff's done as good a job this year as they've ever done. And so I like the position they're in.
I was talking about McLaughlin earlier. He goes 3 for 3 in the final game, and he's a guy that, again, hadn't played a lot prior to the injuries and has now got his batting average above 300, is really starting to find his rhythm hitting the baseball. I think about Charlie Welch 2 years ago, who couldn't crack that starting lineup, but when inserted, you knew he was going to come through. How much confidence do you think he's given Dave Van Horn to put him in pinch hitting situations when they get the full roster back in the coming weeks?
Well, I think the answer speaks for itself based on what we've seen. I mean, he's certainly got a lot more confidence in him now. It's been my experience over the years that, when a team makes a surge at the end, a team that wins a championship, there's always a player, sometimes 2, but generally always 1, that comes on at the end. Maybe a guy who's not given you much during the course of the season, or maybe a player that you've not seen very often. And there's always 1 or 2 of those guys that begin to come through for you. And he's playing well right now. He's sure we're going to see him. I mean, of course we're going to see him. I mean, baseball is a game of streaks, and you go with a hot hand. And I guarantee you this, if if he's still going 3 for 3 every ball game, he's not going to be a pinch hitter. He's going to be in the lineup. So he's come on for him, and that's been good to see.
Game 1, they roll out Hagen Smith. He performs. Cody Adcock comes in there, and then Gage Wood as well. Game 2 goes Tiger, McIntyre. Tiger gets a little more pitching, still trying to kind of work him back to a little bit. The question I have is, again, we've seen the past 2 weekends, they've gone initially starting Tiger, and they bring McIntyre out of the pen, still trying to figure out what role Brady's going to take. As we get to a point where they're fully okay with Brady going his normal pitch count, whatever the case may be, either as a starter or coming out of the pen, what role he's going to take. Because I think he's shown that he can either start or become a closer like he was at points last season, or what he's going to end up being. I think Dave has that luxury of putting him in different situations because he's been in those before the last 2 years.
Well, I think what we're seeing right now is the plan to make him a starter. I don't think they would have worked him as a starter twice if that wasn't their plan. In fact, Dave made a comment after the game, I guess it was Saturday. He said, hopefully there's going to be a point where we can work him 6, 7, or 8 innings. So that tells me that they're thinking about, using him as a starter. And frankly, I think that's what they should do.
Hunter Holland had a couple good innings, and then, again, got kind of in the same situation he has the last 2 weekends where get that. I've watched him and just kind of what he's been dealing with the shin splints. We talked about that on Friday. I've never had them, but I've spoken to people who have, how painful they are. And as a pitcher, with the strain that you put on that part of your body, I just wonder, as we get closer and closer to postseason baseball, if that's going to get any better, if that's just something he's going to have to deal with. And I'm leaning towards the latter because of what just it's been for him the last couple of weeks.
Well, I didn't think he pitched bad. I mean, he didn't pitch badly. I mean, he was okay, not spectacular, but I mean, okay. He's not been perfect, but they may not need him to be. I don't know. We're just gonna have to see moving forward. I mean, what he's giving them right now is enough, and I'm sure they'd like to have more. But Tiger to me is the key to this whole thing. If you get Tiger back and he's healthy, that gives you postseason options. I'm talking about how you put your staff and your pitching together for a regional, and then for a super regional, and then hopefully into the College World Series. You look at where they are right now in terms of their staff. Smith and Tiger healthy, everything clicking. That's an awfully good 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. And McIntyre's a change of pace guy. Holland can be a change of pace guy. You need some of these guys in the bullpen to be consistent. Can Adcock be consistent? Can he come on? That's a guy that you look at and say, man, if we're going to Omaha, that's a guy that's got to, he's got to give us something. Gage Woods, the same kind of guy. Can he be lights out? Can you give him the ball in the 7th inning and say, man, go finish this thing up? And most of the time he'll do it. Because if you use Tiger as a starter, he's going to be the guy. I think he can be the guy. I think he will be the guy. I think it's beginning to come together. I think we're beginning to see what it may look like when we get to the postseason. But you get Tiger back full strength, you've got options on that staff that you've just not had at any point this season.
And I think about Gage Wood as a true freshman, and I keep waiting for him to blow up or make a mistake that true freshmen do. But he really outside the TCU, and he talked about that he was open, didn't perform under the bright lights or whatever. But since
that's been a long time.
Yeah, ago. And again, that was early on in the season, near the beginning of the season, and he's just performed weekend after weekend. And I think back to last year when Tiger, true freshman, Hagen Smith, true freshman, were two of your key pitchers this last season. So it's not necessarily uncommon necessarily for true freshmen to be in that type of situation. And as you said, if Brady Tigert is your starter, that means he's not going to be a closer or bullpen guy. That leads that door wide open for Gage, who continues to shut it on opponents weekend after weekend.
Well, he's been good, and if that's the way they go, he'll have to continue to be good. I don't buy into this true freshman stuff. I've never bought into that. When you get to this point in the season, you're not a true freshman anymore. You're a true freshman opening weekend. You're a true freshman conference opening weekend. You're a true freshman when you hit that first big SEC series on the road. When you get to this point in the season, you've played all year long. I mean, you're not a true freshman anymore. That stuff shouldn't bother you. And if you're any good, you embrace the moment. You've talked to all your youth about how you want to go play in Omaha. Now's your chance. Go do it, big boy. And they will. They will. And may not be this year, but they will during the course of their time here. But I think he's fine. I think he's done a good job. I don't think the bright lights. I don't think that stuff matters now.
And with this weekend, with you sweeping the Bulldogs, while Mississippi State, unfortunately, is not what they've been the last few years, this helps just solidify a national seed. Now, you can't blow it these last 2 weekends against South Carolina and Vanderbilt, but getting a sweep, doing what you get against Texas A&M, doing what you get in Starkville, and now having the opportunity to take on two really good teams in terms of their RPI and conference record, you set yourself really, really nicely for this national scene. Again, you're first in the West. You're tied for the first in the SEC.
Oh, and that's the key right there. I mean, that's the key right there. You're tied for the lead in the toughest conference in America. Of course today they're a national seed.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect when the polls come out today, they're going to be ranked perhaps third. Everybody, I think, ahead of Arkansas lost their series except Wake Forest. I figure Wake Forest, they might go to number one. LSU might stay there. If they were to play a 3-game series, I think LSU would beat them. But Arkansas is going to move up. Yeah, they're a national seed today. No doubt about it. But, I guess you could blow it. The one thing that I will say is I'm going to be interested to see, and I think we kind of saw this last year, we got to the end of basketball season, and we had all these big games, and as it turned out, they didn't even matter in terms of seeding for the NCAA tournament. They didn't even matter. And so we may have a game or two like that here at the end, where it doesn't really matter in terms of national seeding. And I hate to say that, but that may be where we are. But it's a conference championship on the line the next 2 weekends. And you get to the conference tournament and you shake it out, and if you're going to be a national seed regardless, then you plan accordingly. But you're chasing a ring in the next 2 weekends, and you got a chance to celebrate on your home field here in a couple of weeks. But you got to take it one at a time. And if you get there, there's going to be – if you take care of business against South Carolina and you beat Vanderbilt in that series, you're going to be SEC champions in all probability. So – that's out there for them, and that's something they need to chase over the next couple of weekends. Hey, if you're buying or selling a home, Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, is the name you need to remember. It's really the only name you need to remember. Number one, if you're looking, they'll help you find your dream home. If you're selling, they're going to help you get from contract to close. They're going to get it done. They're going to get somebody in your house, and you're going to get your money, and you're going to move on. And that's the way it ought to work in a real estate transaction. You need a pro. You need someone that understands the business. You need someone that deals with it every single day. So the problems that come up along your journey are problems they deal with each and every day, and they're going to guide you through it. That was my experience. I partnered with them to buy and sell. I think that's going to be your experience too. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They're in Branson now. You're going to see their yellow signs all over town, and you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
I know Arkansas fans want to know the latest on Ron Holland. Well, if you heard the news over the weekend, he has been elevated to the number one player on 247 Sports coming out of high school. Here is recruiting expert Adam Finkelstein on what Ron Holland could be at the next level.
247 Sports' number one ranked prospect in the class of 2023 is Ron Holland. Ultimately, he's exactly what modern basketball is looking for right now. He fits that coveted big wing description. He's ultra versatile, an elite defender, plays multiple positions, highly competitive, and the offense is coming around, and I think it's going to keep coming in the future years.
Chuck, I know Arkansas fans are very creative. There was a picture being passed around amongst fans with a shirtless Arab Muslim with a Holland, like the country Holland flag on his chest. I know Arkansas fans are curious about what Ron ultimately decides to do college-wise if he selects Arkansas, G League at night, but he's still not made a decision. Haven't really necessarily gotten a huge update on his front, but that was big notable news that he's been elevated to the number one player in his class over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know where they are on that. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know where they are on that. So we'll just have to see how it all shakes out.
He's a guy that only lost 8 times in high school, went 123-8. 123-8. Of course, won that championship with Anthony Black, played at Duncanville or whatever, but he is highly projected in the 2024 NBA draft. And I just find it so Hunter Dickinson decides on Kansas last week. He's going to Lawrence, commits there. Grant Sheldon still, I think, deciding whether he wants to test the NBA waters or go to Arkansas. He's the kid from North Dakota State. And then Ron, coming out of high school, is still the highest-rated recruit that is not ultimately selected where you go. What's fascinating to me, Chuck, is football recruiting used to be far and away mainly one of the few things that college fans paid attention to, but basketball has been so elevated with the portal and just the growth of the sport. I feel like that, and talked to Richard about this as well. Basketball recruiting is just, and not just as paid attention to, but there's so many people that now monitor it with everything going on right now.
Oh, I think if you're good, you monitor everything that goes on, and if you're not, you don't. I just kind of think that's what it is. I don't think, for example, in some places right now they're salivating over basketball recruiting and the transfer portal the way we are, because for our team and our program, this has been the way the team's been remolded after every year, and doesn't seem like that pattern's going to change. I think for basketball schools that follow college basketball, portal's a really big deal, and there's no doubt it's changed everything. Now, whether or not it's changed one more than the other, I don't know. We're good at basketball right now, so we pay attention to it a lot more than maybe some do.
Other recruiting news, Barry Dunning, who was an Arkansas Razorback, going back home to Alabama, going to Birmingham. He's going to play with the UAB Blazers, it looks like.
That's a good spot for him. Andy Kennedy's a good coach. I like Andy Kennedy. There's a time when Andy Kennedy really lobbied to be the Razorback coach, and he had some national guys that were really lobbying on his behalf back in the Heath Pelfrey era, and then beyond that. So that's a good spot for Barry. He'll get to play there. He's back in his home state. I wondered if he'd end up at South Alabama down in his hometown, but that's not turned out to be the case. But he'll be close to home. That's a good spot for him.
Chuck, was that pre-Ole Miss, or was that when Andy Kennedy was at Ole Miss when he was lobbying for that Arkansas job?
That was when he was down there.
Okay, I was unaware of that. Cool tidbit this morning. You also had North Texas transfer Barkeys Gums. I know this timeline for people's hard to keep track of. He commits to Arkansas, decommits to Arkansas, and is now apparently recommitted to the Razorbacks over the weekend. Chuck, I don't think this is gonna. I know we occasionally see this in high school. I don't feel like it's that prevalent. But I think we might see more of this in the transfer portal, because maybe a guy, he commits, feels like he could get something better, hits the portal again, then he's like, this isn't what I thought it was, and then ends up coming back. I don't know kind of what Gum's situation is, but it looks like the former North Texas Mean Green player has recommitted to the Razorbacks.
Well, I view recruiting this way, and I've just come to view it this way over the years. High school, portal, whatever. When they're here, they're here. And until they're here, they're not. And that's just kind of the way I view it. When they're here, they're Razorbacks. And when they're not, they're not yet. So we'll see what happens with all these guys. I mean, this is a zoo. And, the players are empowered. So when you're empowered, you can change your mind, I guess.
Me and Christian were trying to look up, and I know we were talking about this, Chuck. No really out there stuff about when transfer portal guys can sign. So hopefully maybe Richard can tell us on Thursday when that actual timeline looks like for transfer players. Hey, I want to tell you about the fence man this morning. Tommy's got a great fence around his home thanks to Sean and his team at the Fenceman. We enjoy our Fenceman Friday picks every Friday with Sean. We also enjoy the work he does, whether it's commercial or whether it's residential. They can do either repairs, build a fence, wood privacy, vinyl, or whatever you need. Give them a call at 479-782-3936. The Fenceman again, 479-782-3936. Whatever you need, if it involves fencing, the Fenceman does it. The Fenceman, he ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936. Hour number 2, Hot Take Monday, next.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas. In-office or telemedicine visits available to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors. Call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
It's the spring sale event at WT Equipment. Save up to $350 on Hustler Turf Raptor Series mowers and up to $750 on select Toro Zero Turn mowers. WT Equipment is one of the largest Hustler dealers in the country with a huge selection in stock. Buy what the pros buy, where the pros buy. Save big or get 0% for 48 months on participating equipment with approved credit. Whether you are upgrading your fleet or looking for the best cut on the cul-de-sac, don't miss the spring sale event at WT Equipment. For more information, visit your local WT dealer or online at WTpromos.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pascal. A Pascal Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopascal.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance, and Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren, 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
What does a food truck chef in LA,
order up,
a hip-hop producer from St. Louis,
check 1 2,
and the king of the pickup courts in Philly have in common? They share the same grit, resilience, and passion for what they do. Because the people who share the same spirit share the same beer. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for full and part-time cooks. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Order the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey and Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey and Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of seeing some strong to severe storms across the north today. We could see 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail, upper 80s. Dry further south, mid-80s. We'll get widespread showers and thunderstorms moving in tonight. Overnight lows, mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
The 0-1 to Hines. Ground ball, right side. Holtz in the outfield. Sliding stop. Backhand. Fires to first. What a play by Peyton Holt to wrap this thing up. And this one, this weekend, the entire weekend, all 3 games belong to the Razorbacks.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Hour number 2 of a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. Chuck Barrett, Ty Richardson, Christian Johnson help keeping things running smoothly this morning. Tommy will be back tomorrow. His daughter competed in the national cheer competition this weekend in Orlando, Florida. Out of 80-plus teams, they finished inside the top 15. So congratulations to Little Kraft. I know they're coming home happy after what they did this weekend. Plenty to get to. Arkansas baseball again sweeps the Bulldogs. Back-to-back sweeps in Starkville and Duty Noble 2021 and 2023. We'll discuss more about what this team was able to accomplish coming up here on a Hot Take Monday. It's brought to you by Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They've added Brinkley RV to an already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River. Come check out the Brinkley Model Z. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels, and it always comes with a lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. Stop in and see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year. 5 miles west of Exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Plenty of guys had big weekends. One in particular would be Brady Slavens.
Man, it was big. You know, putting him in the 4-hole, I was just trying to show him a little bit of confidence, especially with the couple of guys out. And I don't know if he'll stick there when we get our 2 other outfielders back, but you know, he had some really good at-bats and some big swings and, you know, help us get the lead. And just really happy for him that he had such a good weekend. And obviously probably wouldn't have won a couple of games without him.
Chuck, he was massive in Starkville, man. The lefty went oppo taco and did a lot of good things in that series.
Well, he had 3 home runs in 3 games, and he had a great series. And it's nice to see him swing the bat. It's nice to see him make solid contact. He's a guy that can, you can live off his back for a week or two. Sometimes, a player like that, he can carry you for a little while if he gets on a hot streak, and hopefully that'll carry over for him.
So what's impressive to me is this weekend, I thought your defense was good. Your pitching was good at times as well, but the hitting, Borfin right now leads the team in home runs with Jared Wagner's absence. He was really good this weekend. He followed up Kendall Diggs' grand slam with a home run of his own. Chuck, you're still hitting the baseball really, really well, even without 2 of your biggest bats in the lineup.
Well, they certainly did this weekend, that's for sure. No doubt about it. And the weather warms, and you better score runs. You better score runs, and that's something you've just got to do. Again, I don't think Mississippi State was competitive at all. And I was noticing when the game ended yesterday, Arkansas now leads the all-time series with Mississippi State 58-57. If you followed college baseball over the years, you know that before there was LSU, there was Mississippi State. Late 70s, all through the 80s. You remember Arkansas played them in the 85 World Series when they had 3 big leaguers on their team. Palmeiro was on that team, and Will Clark and Bobby Thigpen, and there may have been some others. All of them got to the big leagues. Mississippi State was the baseball program in our league for a long, long time. And, Ron Polk, their legendary head coach, I think is probably one of the 3 or 4 most influential people in the history of SEC baseball. And for Arkansas to have crawled past them in the all-time series, I think for long-time observers, for people who followed the Razorbacks from a baseball standpoint since way back in 1992 when they joined the league, and maybe even further back from that when they would meet up with Mississippi State in Omaha, to lead the all-time series with them is not insignificant. They're going through a rough patch right now. They're going to have to change things down there. They're bringing 11,000 people into the ballpark, and their team's just awful. And they're going to change that. They'll be back. But I think for Arkansas to be ahead of them in the all-time series, pretty significant in terms of the overall view of the program.
And I thought this weekend, again, the lack of competitiveness that you saw really outside of Game 1, again, run ruled in Game 2. I guess 11-6 isn't awful for Game 3. But one of the things Dave was asked in the postgame following the series sweep was, did you notice the frustration within the Mississippi State dugout? And a lot of time, like in football and basketball, when you stop a team on 3rd down or you keep playing good defense in basketball and box down and getting rebounds, it breaks the opponent's will. Well, he was, again, what I think ticked off Mississippi State in the dugout is that every time they thought they were going to get a hit up the middle or maybe get a single or a double, an Arkansas infielder made a play. There was a lot of back-breaking plays that the Arkansas defense made, especially in that Game 3, that really frustrated that Mississippi State dugout.
Well, you had one team that was a whole lot better than the other one, and just as simple as that. Again, this was a taking care of business weekend, and they went down there and did that. They didn't let Mississippi State's lack of competitiveness lead them to any kind of complacency in terms of their preparation, the way they started games. They went down there, jumped on them, beat them. And now you're going to play a better team this weekend. You're going to play a team that's backs against the wall. You're going to play a good team whose backs against the wall. Mm-hmm. And the next weekend, if things go right this weekend, the next weekend, the winner of the series is probably going to win the SEC championship. So there's a lot out there now. And, again, they did exactly what they had to do this weekend. And it's great that they did. But now you got to keep it going.
Again, Arkansas sits tied with Vanderbilt right now for the top of the SEC overall, and your sole possession with LSU doing what they did in Auburn. That might have been the biggest surprise of the weekend, Chuck, or that, or Tennessee losing to Georgia, which I didn't expect. They'd won 9 straight. I was puzzled the fact that LSU lost to Auburn, especially getting clobbered the way they did yesterday.
Didn't see that one coming, kind of like we talked about a little bit ago. I just think you're in the point of the season for a lot of the good teams, and LSU's one of them, where they know where they're going to be. We saw this in basketball season. We see it every year. Teams know where they're going to be, and so you hit a stretch. And as I said in the last hour, I've always believed, week 7 and 8 for the good teams is a tough stretch because you've established yourself as one of the best teams in the league. You know where you're going to play. You can lose a game here or there. LSU may still be number 1 in the country today, even though they lost this series. If not, they'll be number 2. They're still going to be a national seed, still going to play at home all the way to Omaha if they keep winning. So I think that sometimes you do see things like this happen. Now, Tennessee have been on a run. Runs end. A lot of times when they end, you lose a couple of ball games. That's sort of what happened to them. And let's not, hey, Georgia swept us. So we know Georgia's dangerous at home. And they're good, too. So just because their record's sub 500 in the league doesn't mean they're not good. So you just got to, LSU had a bad weekend, and I'll bet they have a better weekend this time around.
Georgia does and could have an impact on the SEC standings and who wins it, and we'll tell you about that coming up. We are brought to you this morning by Pradco Fishing. Whether it's the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspended Rattling Rogue, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, whatever you use for bass fishing, for whatever fishing, they can help you out at Pradco Fishing. 20-plus fishing brands, and the Bobby Garland Baby Shad is the number 1 volume lure. And they make it all right here in Arkansas, whether you're fishing your favorite pond, your favorite lake, your favorite stream by the dock or whatever. They can always help you out at Pradco Fishing. They're available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Again, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspended Rattling Rogue, and the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, all from Pradco Fishing. Morning Rush Daily Question when we come back. Is Arkansas going to win the SEC once again?
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey guys, tired of waiting around for hours just to see a doctor? Well, check out Arkansas Medical Weight Loss, centrally located in Fort Smith. It's never been easier to start your weight loss journey. Short wait times means you get in and out quickly and back to your busy life. Now offering semaglutide and terazeptide to reduce hunger and increase metabolism. Give Arkansas Medical Weight Loss a call today at 479-551-2800 and start your journey to a happier, healthier you.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Paschal. A Paschal Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopaschal.com.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke Mile Service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila, you'll have a recipe for magic.
The Golf Nut has everything you need to make 2023 the best year ever. In stock now, Ping G430 woods and irons, along with tailor-made Stealth 2 woods. Schedule a fitting today. The new Titleist Pro V1s are here. Golf lessons are available. Call the shop and book a time, or just play a round of golf on one of the many courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. A one-time offer for the month of May. We need to move it quick due to truckloads coming. 50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. This sectional $21.99, now $1,100. Sofa Love $23.19, now $11.60. This recliner $451, now $226. Maine USA Cash and Carry Furniture Sale. Get it while it lasts. Frank Roll Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
You know, heading into this weekend, I don't think a lot of Arkansas fans were asking the question, could they actually win the SEC? Now, when you look at where the Razorbacks are right now, tied with the Vanderbilt Commodores at the top of the entire conference at 17-7, same place where you were 2 years ago when you won the whole thing. Look at who Arkansas plays down the stretch. You do get the Commodores. You get South Carolina at home this week before traveling to Nashville. Vanderbilt has to go to Florida, which won't be easy, and, of course, play the Razorbacks. And the LSU Tigers, who are not that far behind you in the SEC West, they will take on Mississippi State, and they will take on Georgia as well. So, again, the question, is Arkansas going to win the whole stinking thing? Now, you've got timelines also to think about as well. Tavian Josenberger, Jared Wagner, Dave Van Horn told us that we'll probably get an update on those guys Monday. I think you could win maybe one of the two series without them. I don't know if you don't get both of them back, if you can win both of these series, especially the way that Vanderbilt's been. But again, these were not series that we were expecting to be at this point based on where Arkansas was. But because you got the sweep, because LSU lost, because Vanderbilt lost to Alabama, which I don't think any of you expected, Chuck, it's actually a fair question to ask this morning.
Well, of course it's a fair question. I mean, they're tied for first place. Of course it's a fair question. I mean, they've got an opportunity to win the league. I mean, Vanderbilt lost 2 out of 3 at Alabama. Alabama better than Arkansas? No. I mean, Arkansas can win that series. You know, you got to take care of business Friday night against South Carolina. That's the first order of business. You got to win game 1, and you got to take them one at a time, and you got to keep winning them. If you do, as we saw this past weekend, you never know what's going to happen. You just never know what's going to happen in the other games. You win your ball games, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You'll have an opportunity to be the one standing at the end. And so, you know, if Arkansas goes out and wins the South Carolina series, they're going to have a chance to win the conference championship the next weekend, in all probability. So, you know, let's go play.
And this is, again, this opportunity comes at the expense of losing what was expected to be one of your starters in Jackson Wiggins, several bullpen guys, Brady Tigert, who's going to be a starter, it looks like. He's been out for a majority of the year. Your best hitter, potentially, it's either him and Borfin, with Jared Wagner being out, your leadoff guy, and Tavian Josenberger. They've managed to get to this point through all these injuries. They've just gutted it out, found ways to win. Now it's not there necessarily. It's there for the taking at this point. You haven't accomplished anything just yet because we still got 6 games remaining. But I don't think a lot of you expected it. I didn't. But now I'm thinking they're going to do it. I really do. And the way that certain guys are stepping up, I think that Arkansas is going to win this series this weekend. I just hope, Chuck, that the guys like with Josenberger and Wagner, you were speaking to it earlier, the fact that like when you're coming back, you're expected to produce these points. These guys have been producing, and hopefully they'll kind of assimilate back into the roles that they were originally when they were absolute striping the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they'd just come back and, pick up right where they left off and everything would be great. Hope that happens. Maybe it will. I know they're going to be better with those guys back. I think particularly in the outfield they'll be better defensively. I don't think they've been bad defensively, but I think they've gotten away with some things, quite honestly, with their starting center fielder being out. You don't take your starting center fielder out and not have some effect. So I think that'll help them a lot. But, this is a team that's playing well right now. There's a lot of good energy in the dugout, so you just got to keep doing it.
That is your Morning Rush Daily Question presented by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopascal.com.
So Arkansas baseball again, good weekend overall. And I know the Cardinals have not been playing well as of late, but that changed yesterday when Paul Goldschmidt almost single-handedly snapped an 8-game losing streak, back-to-back-to-back home runs.
Well, he hits us anyways. Goldschmidt deep out to center, way back, it's gone! Paul Goldschmidt gets the Cardinals on the board. Already has one. There's a long one, way out to right center, and see you later. Another one for Paul Goldschmidt, his second of the day. Launched out to left. Goodbye! 3 home runs for Paul Goldschmidt.
Chuck, it's not often you see a guy hit 2 home runs in the game. Paul managed to do it 3 times yesterday. They beat the Detroit Tigers 12-6, and I know that you were happy to see that losing streak end yesterday.
Yeah, it's nice to get a win. Long way to go. They're still the worst record in the National League, so I'm not going to jump up and down over one game, but it was nice that they won yesterday. Goldschmidt is, the ultimate pro. He's the ultimate pro, the big fundy. And he was great yesterday. They got to go play the Cubs 3 in Wrigley now, and we'll see what happens.
What's that? Have you ever gotten a chance to see that game in Wrigley? I've been to Wrigley.
Yeah, I have.
What's that rivalry like in Busch Stadium and Wrigley, getting to see that in person?
It's probably better in Wrigley, to be honest with you, and I say that as a Cardinal fan. The atmosphere is probably better in Wrigley. The thing that I like about that game is that when you go, I mean, it is a lot of Cub fans, a lot of Cardinal fans, regardless of where you play. It's a good-natured rivalry. These are Midwestern people. It's not it's not on the level of the Yankees and the Red Sox where, you've just got all kinds of obscenities being yelled from the stands and things like that. It isn't like that. It's I won't call it a friendly rivalry, but it's not an over-the-top, hateful rivalry. It's not uncommon at all, and those who are familiar with that area know this. I mean, you've got Cardinal fans in western Illinois, and you've got Cub fans in eastern Missouri, and so a lot of them marry into one another's families, and so it's a it's a fun deal. But hey, Cardinals need to go up there and win a couple of games. That's what they need to do, and we'll see if they can.
That's on my bucket list, to see a Cardinals-Cubs series in Wrigley. I've gotten a chance to go to Wrigley, gotten a chance to go to Busch Stadium, but I've never actually seen those two get a chance to face off each other. But I kind of like how you labeled that rivalry a little bit, because it's funny, like there's a respect level for certain franchises and certain teams, but they still might hate each other to the absolute guts. But and in other situations, it's like, well, we don't necessarily love you, but we can deal with you from time to time.
I didn't say I respected the Cubs. I said I can deal with them.
difference on that. It's a little different from the Heat and the Knicks, Chuck. Your Knicks are trying to get back and even the series tonight in Miami, trying to fend off Jimmy Butler and company. They're 4.5-point dogs on the Bet Saracen app. Golden State's trying to even up their series as well. They're 3.5-point dogs tonight. How you feeling about your Knicks chances against the Heat later on?
Yeah, it's funny how they're down 2-1 and they're suddenly my Knicks. I don't know. I have not. I've not for a second thought that New York could beat Miami in this series. I think Miami's the better team. I think they're playing well right now. I think they'll win the series. Knicks were a lot better this year. I really like Tom Thibodeau. I think he's a coach, a good coach. But I think Miami's a little bit better.
Yeah, and we'll see again. Jimmy Butler's been awesome this playoffs. Almost single-handedly won that last series for them against Milwaukee, and that's going to be a pivotal game for tonight for not just the Knicks and the Heat, but also Golden State and the Lakers. Philly beat Boston in overtime last night, thanks to a big shot from James Harden, and then the Suns beat the Nuggets. Again, they are tied that series up at 2-2 last night. Those are the NBA stuff in action again. So Arkansas football, some news there. Varkey's Gums recommitted to the Razorbacks over the weekend. Now, initially, he committed to Arkansas, then decommitted, then recommitted. You've also got some guys in college basketball side of things that have Ron Holland future casted to the Razorbacks. So those are kind of the big two recruiting tidbits for Arkansas and football and basketball over the weekend. We'll get into that with Richard Davenport later this week. Maybe there'll be some updates on that later on from some decisions and timelines for maybe Ron Holland. And then again with Varkey's Gums announcing maybe we have some more commitments. Arkansas has done a really good job in this transfer portal at this point in time. Chuck, on the football side of things, I think Arkansas fans have been really, really impressed with Coach Williams, Coach Woodson, and then Coach Wilson as well, because Arkansas has been able to get out-of-state talented players on offense, but there's less on the defensive side of the football in recent years. But a lot of these guys that they seemingly are bringing in, Gums is the exception because he's on offense, but a lot of these guys are on defense, what I think fans are really excited about.
Well, when you look at last season and the season before and some of the things that went wrong and where they need depth, where they need players, it's been on that side of the ball. I mean, now look, this is all cyclical, and there may be a year where you need more guys on the other side of the ball. But right now, at least in the last year or two, when you look at Arkansas's situation, particularly last season with, this is a game of attrition. And you got to have guys that can step in and be reasonably good players. We've talked about it in baseball, the way this spring's gone. It's that way in all the sports. So, I think when you look at where Arkansas's needs were, I think that's how you put together a staff. I think that's how you put together a staff of recruiters. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you develop a recruiting strategy. It starts with where you need guys, and that's where they've needed guys.
I know the one Razorback Road show gets going here pretty soon, and it's changed. You talked about the change of dynamics on Friday where this used to be Razorback Club time, but because of recruiting, you've had to kind of push that down a little bit. I mean, how much I was thinking about this weekend. We were talking about it, like how much more these coaches are having to spend time on recruiting, not just high school kids, but out of the portal and whatnot. I would think, based on what we know, that job dynamic has changed pretty drastically based on the changes within the portal cycles, the high school recruiting, the early signing period, the amount of pressure based on that. It seemed like that's even been amplified from even just 5 years ago, and how much these coaches, both heads and assistants, are having to spend on recruiting.
Well, there's no doubt it's changed. I mean, everything's changed. The portal has just blown everything up. The old model's gone. Your schedule as a coach, and by schedule, I mean, how you map out your entire year. Everything's changed, and, it's almost a general manager's job now. You're not just a head coach or a general manager. In the pros, when a guy tries to deal with coaching and personnel, we howl, and if it doesn't work, we talk about how, it needs to stick to one or the other. In college football right now, particularly at a lot of the big schools, I mean, you're wearing a lot of hats if you're a head coach. I'm going to be interested to see as we move forward how all that is managed from a personnel standpoint. Do you actually create new positions and new titles? Do you actually have a general manager? What does a director of football operations, what does that job actually morph into? These big schools have a lot of money. They can go out and, they create titles. You got all kinds of titles for guys, and they just decide to hire them. They got the money to do it. And so I think some of that will come down the pike as we go forward. I don't know that you can I don't know that coaches, head coaches, over extended periods of time, there's just going to be an ebb and a flow to this, just from a personal standpoint. I don't know how you do it. But I would suspect, from a coaching standpoint, and Musk kind of talked about this on one of his radio shows in basketball season, I would suspect that there is a temptation from a recruiting standpoint to hit the, you recruit a guy out of the portal, you got a 30-day sprint. Whereas you recruit a high school kid, you've been after him since 8th grade. You know everything about him, and it breaks your heart when you don't get him. So, I don't know. It's a different gig, though, that's for sure.
And the amount of, again, you mentioned that, the coach on the radio show, and I think he also mentioned that during the course of either after the Kansas win or the Illinois win, just that preference. We've seen it already. This staff has brought in, at least to this point, 5 commits out of the transfer portal, 2 high school kids. We'll see what happens with Ron Holland and whatnot, and just the experience stats that we mentioned as well. And football-wise, again, you don't have as much impact as a true freshman in football than you would in basketball. I'd even say baseball to that extent. But how I think another thing to monitor is just like the difference of portal kids percentage-wise in basketball, football, and baseball when you stack those up and compare them to one another, because I think you'll see it more in basketball than maybe do from a percentage-wise than you would in football and baseball.
Well, that's because you've only got 13 guys.
Yeah, it's just different on that.
That's just yes, it's mathematically it's always going to be a different situation in basketball for sure.
Yeah, but they're all going to have impact. Again, we've seen Arkansas's baseball roster alone. You think about Caleb Cowley, you think about Tavian Josenberger, you think about Jared Wagner. Again, in football, there's several guys that are expected to play starting roles this year. You think about the transfers' impact last year, Landers, Hazelwood, and whatnot. That's what Arkansas is at. Arkansas has been successful. There has been misses, but they've been successful to this point in time, and kind of that in that top 25 tier, which you expect facilities, you expect your teams. You don't necessarily expect them to win national championships all the time, but that kind of top 25-ish. And right now, Arkansas ranks inside the top 10 football recruits-wise, transfer portal. You're 1 or 2 in basketball, and then baseball-wise, you brought in a pretty good transfer class, as we're seeing on the field as well. So to this point, Arkansas, those 3 coaches have had success in that area, and hopefully it continues.
Well, one thing that I think has to be said, we're not the only SEC school that's having success in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC schools should be in the top 10. When you rank the top 10 portal classes, and pick your sport, of those 10 teams, 6 or 7 of them ought to be out of the SEC every single year, and we need to be one of them. We're the richest conference. We got the best TV deal. It's the closest thing to the pros you're going to get. Pick your sport. Closest thing you're going to get to the pros. This is where it's at. This is where everybody wants to go. This is the promised land. If you're a college athlete wanting to play professionally, and you can call it SEC arrogance. You can say whatever you want. Just look at the numbers. That's all you got to do. This is the league where everybody wants to come. We ought to be racking up in the transfer portal, and so should everybody else in our league. Now, it's going to be kind of like it is in everything else. The best teams are going to get the best players, and the worst teams are going to get the worst players. But there's going to be every SEC school should be dominating in the transfer portal right now, because this is the league they all want to get to. Guys aren't leaving a school to go to a bad place unless they're only caring about themselves and playing time. They want to go somewhere where they're good,
mm-hmm.
and the SEC teams are good. And they also want to go where there's a good NIL deal. And the SEC's got the best NIL deals. So I suspect this pattern will continue. It should continue. It better continue. Because if not, all the teams that aren't doing it are going to get left behind. The portal's where it's at now. The SEC has all the advantages when it comes to the transfer portal, and this is when you need to flex those muscles. Hey, I know this is going to be a week where you need your air conditioner. It's warming up. We've been talking about how the warm weather's finally going to get here and stay here. I'm not going to jinx it and say the cold weather's gone, but I know you're going to need your AC this week, and that brings me to my friends at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. They're the pros, and they're the ones that can make sure your air conditioner is ready for summer. And look, let's be honest, if it's been a situation in the winter where your heating system's not been great, probably not going to be great in the summer either. Might be time for a new one. Right now, there are all kinds of rebates. There are energy-saving rebates. There are discounts on an entire new system from the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Now, if you're in Northwest Arkansas, you know the name Pascal. They've been around for over 50 years. If you're in another spot of Arkansas and you're listening right now, they're coming. If they're not there now, they're coming. And what you're going to find is what everybody in Northwest Arkansas has known for half a century, that when it comes to all your HVAC needs, there's nobody better than the pros at Pascal. Go Pascal.com. You can schedule your appointment right now. You can get all this stuff tuned up. You can get a year-round plan that gives you peace of mind from one end of the season to the other. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Sterling wants to jump in on this conversation. Sterling, go ahead, man.
Guys, I hope y'all having a great day. I hope you had a great weekend. And Chuck hit the nail on the head. This is the conference we want to play in. It's the best of the minor league pro sports. I know we're not technically a pro sport or technically a minor league, but look at this. You know, you play in the best stadiums. You play in, whether it be baseball, basketball, football. I'm talking about the big three. And you get good at you know what I'm talking about. I can't get it out of my mouth. But you're making good money. You got the big crowds. You got the passion of the fans. It's the best preparation you can possibly get for being a pro athlete. And I don't see no other conference. And I'm so proud of the state of Arkansas. I'm so proud of our program. I'm so proud of our collective and what the Hunts is doing for basketball and even track and field. I know you can't win every track and field title. I know you can't win them all, but we're going to be competing for them all. We have a $200,000 track athlete. And we're competitive in football. Not as good as we are in basketball, but we're competitive. And as an overall program, we're one of the best in the country. I mean, it's obvious when you do that Directors Cup that they have. And we don't have all the sports like they have in the Pac-10, the Conference of Champions. Bill Walton always talks about. They're the Conference of Champions because they in every sport, and they make up some along the way.
Well, they won water polo. They own water polo out there in the Pac-12.
Exactly. And, you know, we win in sports that we are good in the sports that normal people, and I ain't trying to say, but that everybody plays. Baseball, basketball, football, track and field, gymnastics, golf, softball. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, you know. And we don't take a backseat to nobody. Y'all doing a great job, as always. And I want to give a shout-out. I'm going to get their names out on there one of these days when I start off from the beginning talking about them. The support staff at that university, they take the complaints from fans, complaining about this and that and everything under the sun, and it's nice as it can be, and they take care of the fans and the concession workers, the ushers, everybody up there on that hill, on top of that Boston Mountain, top notch. Y'all guys have a great day.
You know, part of this, if you'll just let me piggyback on the back of that for a minute, part of this is money, guys. And part of it's money. I mean, when you got money, you got people to, you know, deal with this problem and that problem, and your job's to deal with this, and your job's to deal with that. Whereas before, you might have had five guys doing or you might have had one person doing what five guys are doing now. So this is the financial component of being in the SEC. This is the windfall. I mean, we tend to focus on, you know, the television revenue and the things of that nature just in terms of our team. You know, what we see on the field or what we see on the court or our coach. I can tell you from having been up there a long, long time, there are more people up there than you can shake a stick at. I have no idea who half these people are, but they all got a job. And they're all dealing with things that, quite frankly, may very well have fallen through the cracks 20, 30 years ago because there just wasn't the personnel to pull it off. And all of that's a byproduct of the money that you get in the SEC. And if you're a player and you're looking to leave and you're looking for a better deal. Sterling talked about guys going to get to the pros, and they do. Some guys, though, just want the best experience of their lives. You know, there are guys all over the SEC, men and women. They're not going to play professionally. This is going to be the best deal they ever have. Well, they want to eat it up. They want to enjoy it for a little while. There's not a team out there that we field. I'll just use baseball for an example. You're going to have to get to the big leagues in a good franchise to have the things that you have at Arkansas. You go to the bushes, it ain't going to be anything like that Hunt Center.
It's a little different. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by Gaston's White River Resort. It's always a great place that you can go to and fish, eat, explore, whatever the case may be, and it is the perfect getaway. The lodges, the cabins, the fully equipped kitchens, or they can, again, take care of you at the restaurant as well. Call 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202 to have a great weekend at Gaston's White River Resort. I know a lot of our audience has been, you have not been lately, or if you haven't been at all, this is the summer to do it. Call Gaston's again or go to gastons.com to have a great weekend. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time. Every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. Looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Save hundreds of dollars on new and pre-owned Chevrolets right now at Road Chevrolet Van Buren. The recent severe weather brought hail to our vehicles, and that means savings for you. Take advantage of these savings now while they last, only at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Our loss is your gain. These units gotta go, so get to Road Chevrolet now for the best selection. See dealer for details about inventory and savings. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren and RoadChevy.com. Prices you'll love. People you can.
Qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Arkansas sweeps the Bulldogs this weekend thanks to some good defense, good hitting, and good pitching. I was kind of surprised to see, looking over the stats, that you were tied with Mississippi State in errors this weekend. Chuck, I don't know how that's possible, man. I watched Mississippi State make countless mistakes in the infield and the outfield, but only credited with the same amount of errors that Arkansas got with 3 over the weekend.
Yeah, they got a little help from the official score over the weekend. There were a couple of decisions there that just kind of baffled me. But you're going to get hometowned every once in a while on scoring decisions. But, they generally make the decision that favors the home team, and because they got to answer to the head coach at the end of the night. Most of those scores are just on the staff at these schools, and I can tell you there's a lot of lobbying that goes on back and forth. But be that as it may, Arkansas leads the league in double plays. Arkansas is fine defensively. I do think when they get Josenberger back in center field, that the one area of this team that there's a couple of things. I think when Josenberger gets back, there'll be a little more take charge in the outfield. I think that's something that is okay right now, but I think it could be better, and I think it'll need to be better when they get to the more meaningful games. I'm not sure in their injury situation right now that that's not the area that's affected most. But when these guys come back, to me, obviously you got to continue to produce offensively. You do. But these are kids, and I think they will produce offensively. But the main thing to me right now is getting them back allows you to be a lot better defensively in the outfield.
Well, here is Dave Van Horn on his team's performance on the defensive side this weekend.
Our defense was outstanding all weekend, and they gave Bolton an error on that ball in the hole. And I guess when you make 2 or 3 plays that are amazing like that on the weekend, they think you're supposed to make it every time. And he knew he had to get rid of that ball extremely quick, and he did, and he short hopped the first baseman, and he didn't pick it. They gave him an error. I think it was a hit, but I thought we played super defense.
Bill's listening this morning, Chuck. He said errors are an overrated stat, and you've just kind of again, spelled out when you go on the road, how it's graded out and it's judged a little differently than maybe it would be at Baum Walker or a neutral site like going to Charles Schwab Field. But again, I was just surprised. And Bolden was the guy. Again, Bolden's never going to wow you with his bat. That's not his strength. But, I mean, he made some plays in the infield on over the weekend that I was just scratching my head over. I mean, he's falling away, making these throws, just making play after play, it seemed like, in that shortstop spot.
Well, his defense has never been a question. And he's been a tougher out the last couple of weekends than he was for a while. I mean, he's been a tougher out. He's gotten some hits, done some things offensively that he wasn't doing before. The play that Dave was talking about, you had to charge an error to somebody for the guy going from second to third. You had to charge the error there. The ball got away from Slavens at first base. I don't think the error was charged on the hit. Shouldn't have been. Now, I would argue that the debate was going to be who's the error on, Slavens or Bolton for the guy going from second to third. You've got to charge an error there because you have to account scoring-wise for him going from second to third. Doesn't have anything to do with the guy reaching base at first. I think I'd have given the error to Slavens on that play. But that's the reason the error was charged there.
So, again, Arkansas, after the series sweep over Mississippi State, tied with Vanderbilt for the top of the SEC. You're also solo leading the LSU Tigers for first place in the SEC West right now. You've got to get South Carolina this weekend, and then you'll close out on the road against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has Florida on the road this weekend, then they'll close out against you. And then the LSU Tigers are playing, again, they close out against
Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State at home, and then they'll play Georgia, which Georgia beats Tennessee this weekend, which Tennessee was as hot as they were and then came down to earth a little bit, Chuck.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Georgia and Tennessee don't matter to us anymore. Here's what matters. Vanderbilt's got to go to Florida this weekend. Florida's good. They got to go to Gainesville. And Arkansas gets South Carolina at home. You have to figure LSU's going to sweep Mississippi State. You have to figure that's going to happen based on what we saw. Now that's a legit rivalry there. LSU Mississippi State's a legit rivalry in baseball. I wouldn't be shocked to see Mississippi State, jump up and win one of those games. But I think you've got to plan on LSU sweeping that series. LSU right now is a half game back, so you start doing the math. You've just got to keep winning games. You got to go win that game. You got to win game one against South Carolina. You can't worry about what the other teams are doing. We can watch, and we will. But for them, they got to focus on the matter at hand, and that is beating South Carolina in game one. And after game one, you deal with game two.
Arkansas softball, they fall for the first time since 2020 on the road when they lost to Alabama. They lose their series against Missouri this weekend. They are going to be the 4 seed coming up. We'll talk more about this softball SEC tournament coming up. They're the 4 seed. They're going to play on Thursday against either Alabama or Mississippi. Again, the SEC tournament in Fayetteville this weekend, which is going to be a fun event. Recruiting-wise news, Ron Holland got a couple crystal balls to Arkansas. No commit, nothing there just yet, but did get some good news, at least on the surface, that he might be leaning towards the Razorbacks. Barry Dunning, he ends up going to UAB, commits there, and then Varkese Guns, the North Texas transfer, committed to Arkansas, decommitted to Arkansas, and is now recommitted to the Razorbacks. That is your Hog Update. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, we got to remember his name. Is it the mouth of Stuttgart? Is that Brent's what he's going by now, Chuck? I think he told us on Friday. What's up?
He's the mouth. Wherever he is, he's the mouth of that town.
The mouth of that town. What's up, mouth?
Hey, Chuck, you got that right. The mouth is always moving. That's all I can say.
I know that.
Now let's give super duper props to the coach, to Dave Van Horn, Coach Van Horn, and his baseball staff, and this team. We are putting it together with duct tape and Gorilla Glue. I mean, we're in first place overall in the SEC, correct?
Tied for the top spot. Tied for the top spot.
And that is just incredible to me to see that, because this team was picked to finish third or fourth in the West at the beginning of the year, correct?
I don't really recall.
Third in the West. Yeah, third in the West.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What I couldn't hear what was the thing on the Razorback update that somebody was leaning towards the Razorback?
Ron Holland has gotten a couple of projections by recruiting analysts to end up in Fayetteville. There's no confirmation on that yet, but he's had a few people that think he's going to end up being a Razorback.
When do you think we'll have to wait all through the summer to hear what he's going to do?
Well, Brent, we appreciate the call. I've heard that he has not gotten out of his national letter of intent from Texas just yet. So that's just something to monitor when it comes to Ron's situation, because
that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, you can't. If you're going to leave, you got to get out of that. It would be recruiting suicide if Texas did allow him out of it. But until we get that official word that has been done, something to monitor in regards to that. It is a Hot Take Monday, and it's brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. They have just added Brinkley RV to their already loaded lineup. You can always stop by and see them 5 miles west off Exit 72 in Springdale. Always going to get that lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence at Wheels RV. And again, come by and see the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. That is the Brinkley Model Z. Hour number 3 coming up. I want to talk about Kendall Diggs and the weekend he had next.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Matt, it's almost summertime.
Yes, it is, Dad. Spring's here, and summer's not too far away.
So, Matt, you know what that means.
Baseball season.
Yep, you be right.
And Hog fans, we have everything you need to get ready for Razorback baseball.
From T-shirts to hats.
From stuff for the grill to lighted signs and decorations for your fan cave.
We even have those bases-loaded beer hats and them boppers.
Hey, Dad, what's a bopper?
You know, those springy things that have 2 beer cups on the top?
Oh, yeah, those things. I've seen them everywhere. Well, no matter what you need, we have you covered.
So, Hog fans, come by the Stadium Shop at 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville and call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. And Matt, as usual, I'm going to leave them WW facegram things up.
Our website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Matt, this time of year reminds me of when your mom and I first started dating, man.
Dad, wait, hang on. That's just too much.
Oh, okay.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
M&M Grass-Fed Farms of Rudy says, "Where's the beef?" That's a blast from the past, but it's a real thing at the paint store in Van Buren. Our M&M farm produces certified 100% grass-fed beef, T-bone, New York strip, fajita meat, bones for broth, tenderloin, even beef, bacon, and tongue. Our free-range chicken eggs are fresh from the farm. Rudy is your coupon code. Find us and follow us, M&M Farms, inside the paint store in Van Buren.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pasco. A Pasco Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Pasco Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopasco.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light. You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke mile service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. A one-time offer for the month of May. We need to move it quick due to truckloads coming. 50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. This sectional $21.99, now $1,100. Sofa Love $23.19, now $11.60. This recliner $451, now $226. Made USA Cash and Carry Furniture Sale. Get it while it lasts. Frank Roll Furniture. Best seats in the house.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of seeing some strong to severe storms across the north today. We could see 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail, upper 80s. Dry further south, mid-80s. We'll get widespread showers and thunderstorms moving in tonight. Overnight lows, mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
The 0-1 to Hines, ground ball, right side, Holtz in the outfield, sliding stop, backhand, fires to first. What a play by Peyton Holt to wrap this thing up. And this one, this weekend, the entire weekend, all 3 games belong to the Razorbacks.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
It is a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush, hour number 3. I'll tell you whose bat was hot in the sweep this weekend. That was Kendall Diggs. Listen to this. He goes 6 for 11, 10 RBIs, 3 and 4 in game 2, and 2 of 3 in game number 3. Had that grand slam on 2 outs, by the way. That was what was crazy about this weekend for Arkansas. 19 2-out RBIs for this baseball team over the weekend. So they were hitting the ball in clutch situations where could have ended the inning, and yet they kept it going. That's what hurt Mississippi State. I know frustrated their coach and a lot of pitchers this weekend in addition to their defense. Hot Take Monday always brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Springdale and in Northwest Arkansas. They have added Brinkley RV to their lineup with Grand Design and Forest River. Come check it out. It is a luxury fifth wheel and always comes with that lifetime warranty, so you don't have to worry. you keep on camping and camp with confidence. Stop on by and see Chris, Lee J, Shane, the entire gang, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Kendall Diggs, let's go back to that grand slam. Let's relive it once again.
2-1. A fly ball, well hit, deep right center field. That one's got a chance. That ball's out of here. Second grand slam of the year for Kendall Diggs.
So he's, again, taking over that leadoff spot with Tavian Josenberger going out. And after this weekend, he is now hitting .329. So he's got a lot to catch up to Jace Morfin, who, again, had a great weekend as well. But Chuck Kendall was huge for this baseball team this weekend.
Diggs is going to be a big leaguer. I just think he gets better all the time. He's fun to watch. I think he's just a terrific player, and I'm glad he's swinging the bat well right now, because whether he's in the top of the lineup or when these other guys come back, when you drop him down, if you drop him down, I mean he's a player. He's a hitter. I mean, you watch him play, and just the way he plays the game. And I'll say this about Diggs too. And this is one of the really impressive things about him. We focus on his bat. You think back to that series in the middle of April when they played Tennessee at Baumwalker Stadium. He was out in right field. This was right after the shuffle and the injuries and all that stuff started. And he was not great. I'll just put it there. He didn't look comfortable. Let's just put it that way, out in right field. And it seemed like, when you're not comfortable in a certain spot, the ball finds you. If you think back in that series, it seemed like everything was hit out toward right field. But he's gotten so much better. Look at where he is 3 weeks later defensively. That's a ball player. That's a ball player. That's not a hitter. It's not a runner. It's not a fielder. It's a ball player. And I just think he's just beginning to hit the tip of the iceberg. I think Diggs is going to be so good.
I think Arkansas fans agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, we've talked about Tiger coming back, and it looks like, based on what Dave's saying following Saturday's game, that they're wanting to get him to be a starter at some point in time. We'll see if it happens to take shape. But with Kendall this weekend, Tavian, when he comes back, depending on how quickly he gets back to hitting 300-plus and being the leadoff guy that we expect of him this season, you at least have the option, Dave does, to leave Kendall in that leadoff role to get those hits. Arkansas, again, this weekend, leading off in Game 3, Game 2, you had 6 of 7 innings that the leadoff guy was on base, got on base. Now, Kendall was a part of that for some. It wasn't just him, but it was encouraging to see this baseball team again start out strong and finish. But for Kendall, who, as you said, had some issues kind of being in the outfield, but has really come back into his own, and not just in the outfield, but really hitting the ball and doing what it is right now.
Well, Mississippi State was barely competitive over the weekend, and, I do think some of that's got to be taken into consideration. They're going to play a much better team this weekend, and a much better team even than that the following weekend. So there's still a lot out there, and there's still really good competition coming over these last 2 weekends. South Carolina's kind of taken a little dip, but as we've seen, good and bad, in a baseball season, nothing lasts forever. I mean, you're going to go through dips, and you're going to go through periods where you're playing really well. Arkansas, got swept at Georgia, and my goodness, last Wednesday morning after they'd lost in Little Rock, you'd have thought the sky was falling. And here we are Monday, and it's like it never even happened. So, you just got to keep playing. You got to keep going. You got 2 big series coming up. You got a chance to win the conference championship. And they did exactly what they had to do this weekend. And that was encouraging. They didn't get complacent. They jumped on them. They did exactly what you're supposed to do to a bad team, and that is encouraging. The flip side is you're not going to play a bad team this weekend. You're probably not going to play a bad team the rest of the way unless you catch somebody slumping in the first round of the conference tournament.
Another guy whose name we need to mention is Ben McLaughlin. He goes 5 for 11 this weekend, including 3 of 3 on the game on Sunday. And his future role with the team, I'm not talking about future years, but this year is being brought up to question. Chandler asking about it via the text line, and Michael has phoned in about it as well. Michael, go ahead, man. What are your thoughts on Ben McLaughlin's role when Tavian, Josenberger, and Jared Wagner come back?
Yeah, man, that's just pretty much my only question, man. First off, Chuck, I just want to thank you for everything you brought to me as a child. I've listened to you for about 12 years now. You brought a lot to the table, man. I appreciate it. But no, I just want to see where Ben fits into this whole thing. When everybody comes back, and I'll hang up and listen.
We've touched on that a little bit. It's gonna be hard to keep him out of the lineup because of the way he keeps hitting the baseball. Again, he's got his average now above 300 at this point. I mentioned him going 5 for 11 this weekend. So here's a guy that initially comes in a role just due to some injury stuff that Arkansas was dealing with, but is really, as we talked about, I mean, these are not scrubs that you have lying in the dugout. These are top-tier guys from either the transfer portal, out of high school. Arkansas, like in basketball, has pulled in some really, really good classes out of late. Typically top 5, top 10-ish classes. And McLaughlin wants to play, and he's given Dave every reason to play him in the coming weeks, Chuck, even with guys coming back potentially.
That's a good problem to have, that's for sure. There's still going to be an ebb and a flow to this. We've still got we've got the rest of May. And then hopefully you've got until toward the end of June when you're playing. So there's still going to be an ebb and a flow to this. I don't think anybody that's in a slump right now is going to be in a slump the rest of the year. Nor do I think that anybody who's on a hot streak right now is going to tear it up from now till the end. I hope they do, but you can't necessarily plan on that. That's a long way of saying sometimes you go with a hot hand. I promise you this, if McLaughlin keeps going 3 for 3, they're going to find a way to get him in the lineup. I don't know if he's going to be the DH. I don't know if it's a situation where they start a lefty and bring in a righty and then you bring him in. I don't know how they're going to work it. But if he keeps hitting, he'll play.
No. It's hard to keep a bat like that off the field if he keeps doing what he's doing. Good question, Michael. Good texting as well, Chandler. That's something that Dave Van Horn it's a good, as you just said, it's a good problem to have. Sometimes coaches, they can't find the hitting, they can't find the pitching, but in this case, he's a bat that is a luxury on this team right now. Again, if you want to jump in like Michael or if you want to jump in like Chandler, feel free to do so. 877-377-6963. So big picture, you're tied with Vanderbilt at the top of the SEC. You have a chance to win it outright, something you did in 2021 and something you'd love to do once again. I mean, it's all well and good if you win the SEC West, and that's still a big accomplishment based on what the SEC West is year after year. But this is the chance, and Chuck, you're basically, depending on how things go this weekend, you get the series win this weekend. I mean, it's you and Vanderbilt. You're going to be neck and neck heading into that final series, depending on South Carolina. You couldn't ask for a better setup unless you had all played the game at home, obviously.
Well, don't rule out LSU in all this either. I mean, LSU's they're just a half game back of Arkansas. They've got Mississippi State this weekend. They're going to get to play at home the same team Arkansas just swept on the road. So let's not count them out by any stretch of the imagination. They are not in the rearview mirror, and they the half game right now could or could not be a big deal. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. It just depends on which way. Does it favor you or does it not favor you? You don't know that everything's not. You don't know you're not going to have a rain out over the course of the next 6 games for somebody. But when you look right now at the overall championship, conventional wisdom points to Vanderbilt, LSU, Arkansas. In no particular order. But what if South Carolina comes to Fayetteville and wins 3 ball games?
Good point.
Vanderbilt goes down to Florida and loses twice. What if LSU sweeps Mississippi State? None of the things – I say none of the things. A couple of the things we saw this past weekend in relation to the race, Alabama taking 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt and Auburn taking 2 of 3 from LSU, we didn't see that coming. So let's not be naive. There may be something this coming weekend that we didn't see. And there may be something the following weekend that we don't see. This is it's a weekend-to-weekend deal. And there's no guarantee. And as we've said before, when they got swept by Georgia, it's not the end of the season. Well, you sweep Mississippi State, better not be the ultimate this season. It better not be your shining moment.
Yep.
So you got to keep going.
Arkansas fans are big Gators, big Bulldog fans this weekend as Florida takes on LSU, and then again Mississippi State going to why am I blanking on
Florida and Vanderbilt,
Florida
LSU,
and Vanderbilt.
Mississippi State.
I switched it on that. I want to tell you about our friends before we take Michael's call. I want to tell you about our friends at West Ark Plumbing. Plumbing Girl and her team will keep you flowing, and they appreciate the trust and the business. They've been doing it since 1993, whether it's clogged drain, water heater on the fritz. Call them at 646-5151. That's 479-646-5151. The team at West Ark are super thankful for everything, and whether things aren't flowing the right way, whatever you need, again, they've been doing it since 1993. They support their community, and the money you pay goes right back to the community as well. West Ark says no to crack in the pipes and in your plumber. Again, 646-5151. Dennis, I apologize. Dennis is in Rogers this morning. Dennis, what's up, man? You got some thoughts on Arkansas baseball?
I do. Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, Chuck. How you doing?
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, obviously great weekend for the Hogs. Moved up to 3 this morning in the poll. But a team that I'm kind of keeping my eye on a little bit that I don't think is getting much attention is Kentucky. Number 1 RPI in the country, number 1 strength of schedule. I guess they moved up to 17 this weekend, had a big sweep of South Carolina. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on Kentucky and what you think their hosting opportunities may look like.
That's a good question. Kentucky, they were 9-1, and then they lost 8 of 10. In terms of the SEC, and it was easy to kind of look at them and say, well, they're fading. They went into this past weekend 11-10. I mean, you can do the math. They were 9-1 at one point, and then they sweep. They sweep South Carolina, and Kentucky's dangerous. I would imagine they're going to host in the first round, and unless they just collapse over the last couple of weekends, I would imagine they'll be. At least have a very good chance to be a top 8 seed. That's a good point. That's a good point, and in that, we've not really talked about them in terms of, they're not going to win the conference. So right now they're not in the conversation in terms of who's going to win the league. But you're right. You look at their RPI, strength of schedule. There's every reason to believe right now that Kentucky, at 14-10 in the league, if Kentucky gets to 18-12. I don't know if they're going to be a national seed, but I think they're going to be right there at the national seed cut line. I know what the RPI and the strength of schedule says, and that, that may be even with without a divisional championship, that may get them to a national seed. But no, that's a valid point.
There's SEC teams, again, year after year that you consistently see as the national seeds, as you see in the top 16 overall. And one of the things that Tommy points out is a lot of times you see them, they try to get them in super regionals together. You got 4 teams from the SEC West that ended up in Omaha last year. Of course, back-to-back winners from the SEC West in Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Chuck, what are your thoughts? Do you think they try and put SEC teams in super regional sites together so there's less conference teams in the actual College World Series?
I really don't think that. I know some people do, and maybe there were times when they did. I just think the numbers are so overwhelming right now that you can't worry about that. When you talk about 8, 10, 12 of your teams in the NCAA tournament, it's going to be hard for them not to match up. It's just going to be hard for them to. We'll see how it all shakes out. I'm sure they don't want, in a perfect world, they probably wouldn't want 6 SEC teams up there, but I'll tell you this, the people at TD Ameritrade Park sure do, because that means the house is going to be full every time they play. We're the league that brings people. And I know I'm not saying other programs don't from other conferences, but I'm saying as a whole, you put 4 SEC teams in the College World Series and you're going to have big crowds, I promise you. And you're going to have you're going to have big attention. So that's a long answer to your question. I really don't think they do that anymore. You could probably find a case or two where you might find some evidence otherwise, but generally speaking, I don't think so.
And speaking of attention, there's going to be a lot of attention paid to what happens in Bogle Park this weekend. So here's the setup for you. You've got college graduations this weekend, Arkansas hosting South Carolina, and then the SEC tournament in softball is here in Fayetteville for the first time since 2010. So Arkansas is again going to be the 4 seed. They are playing on Thursday to start. I know people are excited about that. Chuck, I've talked to many people in Northwest Arkansas who've been asking me for tickets. I don't have any connections. That place, including the berm and the outfield, it is going to be a zoo this weekend at Bogle Park. Not just with Arkansas fans. I think a lot of people will make the trek up to Northwest Arkansas.
Well, I think it's going to be a great event. I hope Arkansas can win and stay alive, and they'll pack this thing out for every game. If Arkansas gets knocked out, they're not going to pack it out for every game. But I hope that they're able to do that. This is a good team. It's good home field advantage. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And as we've discussed, I mean, softball was waiting to explode. And it had already exploded in some other spots. And we've caught up. And Courtney Deifel gets all the credit for that.
They won the SEC tournament last year, and so maybe they can go back-to-back. Again, Arkansas will play at 4 o'clock on Thursday. 3 teams. They might play Alabama, Mississippi State, or Missouri, who unfortunately lost the series to Missouri this weekend. So maybe they get a little revenge if they get a chance to match up with them as well. But this is unique, and I know they host the track and field championships, Chuck, and I was not there in 2010 when they did it for softball, but you don't get a lot of opportunity to host postseason SEC events in Fayetteville. I know, again, for postseason baseball, you'll get numerous outings at Baum Walker, but I just think this is unique for Northwest Arkansas getting to host an SEC event outside of track and field.
I think it's great, and I think people are going to enjoy it. There is some value in moving the tournament around. There's also value in having it in one spot. I think for the growth of the sport, it would be nice if they could get to a point where they've got some city that wants this thing and embraces it the way Hoover has with a baseball tournament, the way Oklahoma City has with their Women's College World Series. I think it'd be nice if you could have that, but I also think there's value as you grow the sport in moving it around. I'm old enough to remember when there was not, the SEC, when Arkansas joined the SEC in baseball, you had divisional tournaments. You didn't even have a conference tournament. You had a division tournament. They did that for, I guess, about 3 years. But once they found that permanent site in Hoover in 95, they had a TV deal and everything went crazy. I think softball could benefit from something like that. But I think right now, as they grow the sport, I think it's great that they go from campus to campus. And look, Arkansas, if they're going to do that, Arkansas has earned it, and I think it's going to be great.
Razorbacks will play again at home this weekend, probably play at home in the regional. Don't know about the Super. I know we've been talking about where Arkansas can land as a national seed or in a top 16 to at least hope a regional side. With the Razorbacks again this weekend, we'll see what they do in the SEC tournament. Probably have a better outlook on this softball team, and if Courtney Deifel could place 3 straight weekends postseason-wise, if they were to win the regional and host a super regional side as well, which would be really, really unique for this softball program.
Well, and she's done this with a really young team. If you look at it, I mean, this is a really young team. Their best days may still be ahead of them, but they got a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, and that's again Ryland Hedgecock, who leads the SEC in homers this season, is a freshman, which is pretty cool. And there's several other guys on that team that have had an impact, that not just on the softball team, but in the conference as well. Still a lot to get to. We got the most exciting 2 minutes in sports to get to coming up in the Kentucky Derby. But before we do that, we want to tell you about our friends at WT Equipment. The spring sale is going on right now. You can save up to $350 on Hustler Turf Raptor Series motors and up to $750 on select Toro zero-turn mowers. WT Equipment is the largest Hustler dealers in the country with a huge selection in stock. zero-turn motors, one-piece frames, welded steel decks, whatever you need, they're going to have it. They have an expert staff, and they're going to ensure that you get the right equipment that you need. You can save big or get 0% for 48 months on participating equipment with approved credit. Again, the spring sale event going on right now at WT Equipment. Exciting 2 minutes in sports coming up next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
To work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaww.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Let me say this. Tommy Kraft's not walking around with his shirt off. I'm certain of it. I don't care if he's dropped 20 or not. I could see maybe a couple of buttons undone on a shirt, but I don't see Tommy walking around with his shirt off. I don't see that.
That not a pleasant
Well, I'm
sight.
trying not to imagine. I'm trying not to see it.
The most exciting 2 minutes in sports happens every year at the Kentucky Derby. And it was Mage this year with 15-1 odds that ended up getting it done. So if you had Mage, you ended up winning quite a bit of company or quite a bit of money. Here's what went down this weekend on Saturday.
Here's Mage coming struggling down the outside. Angel of Empire is putting in his run, and there's 1 furlong to run. 2 fills on the inside, trying to hold off Mage. Mage has taken the lead here as they come into the final 16th, and it is going to be Mage to win the Kentucky Derby.
Chucky, you can just hear the excitement of the crowd and the voice in that call.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're leaning over the rail if you're there or if you're, just watching wherever you are. I'm one of those people that I'm never going to be accused of being a knowledgeable horse racing fan. I'm not. But I always pay attention to the Kentucky Derby. I always know what time post time is, and I'm always around. And then this was the case Saturday. I was around a cell phone so I could punch it up and watch it. But yeah, it's great. It's just one of the great moments in American sports.
So that was the NBC call, and I don't think we'd be doing y'all I think we're doing y'all a disservice this morning if we don't play the whole call. Now, I'm partial to the late Terry Wallace, but Travis Stone, the in-house guy at the Kentucky Derby, he's pretty good too.
They're in the gates. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And Confidence Game got away well, so too Verifying Kings Barnes is up there too. Jace's Road from the outside and Reincarnate from mid-pack fires out as well in that daunting run to the first turn of the Derby. And it's Verifying Kings Barnes and Reincarnate, the 3 of them across the track early on. And they've opened up by 2.5 lengths. Confidence Game toward the inside is racing in 4th. 2 fills is 5th. Jace's Road on the outside is 6th. Hit Show toward the rail, racing in 7th. Rocket Ken comes away in 8th. Raise Kane right at mid-pack, running along in 9th. Mandarin Hero is 10th. King Russell's 11th. Disarm buried at the inside, while 12th. Derma Sotagake's back in 13th. Cyclone Mischief is 14th. Mage is 15th. Angel of Empire down inside in 16th. Sun Thunder is 17th. Tap It Trice was last, entering the backstretch run. And another sharp pace in the Derby. 45 3/5 seconds. Verifying, flying up the backstretch with Kings Barnes bounding along right alongside. And Reincarnate is right there. 3 wide on the outside third. 2 Phils follows them in fourth. Confidence Game covered up down inside fifth. Hit Show's been moved to the outside, and he's drawn to within 3 lengths of the lead as around the far turn. Rocket Can is following him. Raise Cane's going the wrong way down inside. Derma Sotogake is revving up from the back of the pack, and so too is Mage. Angel of Empire is finding his best stride as they round the far turn, and 2 Phils has taken the lead. 2 Phils turns for home in front by 2. Mage is coming down the center. Hit Show is there. Kings Barnes gives way. Angel of Empire with powerful strides down the center of the track, but there's 1 furlong to go. 2 Phils fights on, but Mage has taken the lead. Angel of Empires are rallying third. Time is running out to catch Mage. Mage digs down deep, urged onto the wire to win the Derby. Mage the winner. 2 Phils was second. Angel of Empire was third, and Disarm came on for fourth.
See, to me, that is as good a call as you will hear in sports. And I don't mean to talk shop, get into broadcasting too much here, but as a play-by-play guy, I'm just going to tell you that's as good as it gets. Now, I'm like you. Terry Wallace is a dear friend. I loved him. And I know I'm not the only one. I mean, he was as beloved a sporting figure as our state's ever produced, and with good reason. But, man, I think that's the toughest job, Ty. I think that's the toughest play-by-play job in all of sports. Baseball, football, basketball, you name it. Precision with which that guy called that race. There was no screw-up. There was nothing. It was as smooth as silk. That's a pro right there. That guy's the real deal.
I couldn't do it. You got to have
how hard would that be?
Multiple points of inflection. You can't lose at any point in time. And how much coffee are you drinking before that 2 minutes, Chuck? How much?
Well, you better not be too. See, that's the thing. You can't drink too much, or you screw up. You got to be. Eddie Sutton used to talk about the magic level, and that guy was at the magic level. I can tell you from experience, you get too fired up there, and you'll just screw up. And for him to be able to call it like that, just as smooth as silk, he just made it sound easy.
The most exciting 2 minutes of sports at the Kentucky Derby again every single weekend. A bucket list event that I'd love to go to at some point. I had some friends that were down there this weekend, got some Morning Rush listeners that have told me at that point in time. And Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong, you have not been, correct, or you have?
No, I have not been to the Derby.
I thought you had told me that. I just wanted to verify that. But yeah, it's an event. There's no question about it. And for the people that are in attendance and just watching on TV, it's one of those sporting events that you can almost feel the energy of what's going on there. Like you're saying, people leaning over the rails, jumping, hooting and hollering there in person. It's one of those events that you can feel the energy coming off your television screen just based off the different ambient sounds that you hear just from that call. But that was awesome, no question. I couldn't do it. That's not my strength, man.
No. That's why I said it was really good.
He's outstanding. All right, more of the Morning Rush to get to coming up. Again, Hot Take Monday brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. When we come back, SEC update. We're going to get into Arkansas, where they are in the SEC, kind of what sets up down the stretch. Again, you've got South Carolina at home, the Vanderbilt Commodores down the stretch in Hawkins Field in Nashville. Arkansas tied with the Doors right now for first in the SEC West, or not the SEC West, but the SEC overall. We'll talk more of that. Got some football stuff I want to get into as well as we close out today's show.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
It's the spring sale event at WT Equipment. Save up to $350 on Hustler Turf Raptor Series mowers and up to $750 on select Toro Zero Turn mowers. WT Equipment is one of the largest Hustler dealers in the country with a huge selection, In stock. Buy what the pros buy. Where the pros buy. Save big or get 0% for 48 months on participating equipment with approved credit. Whether you are upgrading your fleet or looking for the best cut on the cul-de-sac, don't miss the spring sale event at WT Equipment. For more information, visit your local WT dealer or online at WTpromos.com.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas. In-office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke Mile Service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey, Wes.
Hey, it's for horses. Are my ears that long? Don't answer that.
What's the deal with our cheese?
The cheese is from Wisconsin.
Okay, so what? Ain't cheese just cheese?
Billy, I'm from Wisconsin.
Not to be rude, Wes, but who cares?
Wisconsin cows make for better cheese.
Aren't cows just cows? Don't they have cows out in California?
Wisconsin cows are better because of the ice.
Ain't there 4 ice in California?
Ice, not eyes.
The ice is the difference? Do cows skate or something? Do they play hockey too?
Oh, blessed Billy.
How does they put them their skates on them?
Jim's Razorback Pizza uses cheese from ice hockey playing cows from Wisconsin. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howell in Van Buren.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
So I saw this story from The Advocate in Baton Rouge in New Orleans last week that LSU's football multi-year academic progress report was below 930, which is the minimum to not have penalties within your program from the NCAA. It's at 923, but the NCAA is pushing back punishments because of the pandemic. Now, I guess if that ends up being the case for next spring, they will hand out penalties if LSU ends up having a academic progress report below 930. Now, to me, I think Arkansas fans know that LSU is magically going to wind up plus 930 at some point in time. They're not going to get any penalties or anything, but I did find that interesting against graduation rate, scholarship players, various factors that are a part of this, but we know LSU, they don't exactly take academics very seriously over there, but luckily that program, for their sake, is not getting any punishment in regards to that. I did see Arkansas had a pretty good APR report. I think the highest that it's either had or was up there, but I saw that in a release yesterday. So academics and athletics, again, matter here in Arkansas. Can't necessarily say that about Baton Rouge. All right, SEC baseball-wise, Arkansas's tied with the Vanderbilt Commodores after this weekend at 17-7 in the Southeastern Conference.
Wagner's getting the 2 pins out of his stump.
I think the paper hit that. The weekend series in the SEC. So Bama's taking on A&M. South Carolina again going to Arkansas. Auburn and Ole Miss. Vanderbilt at Florida is the one you want to keep an eye on, in addition to Mississippi State at LSU. A lot of Arkansas fans going to be cheering for the Gators in Gainesville and for the Bulldogs in Louisiana this weekend. Much better chance if those two fall in the series this weekend that you could ultimately win the Southeastern Conference. Still be able to. You're a half game above the LSU Tigers right now for the overall lead in the SEC West, but we'll see how it shakes out. Again, they have a much easier stretch down the road than you do in terms of their opponents, and Arkansas, again, finds themselves with 2 tough opponents remaining against the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Vanderbilt Commodores. But you do have the opportunity to control your own destiny at this point in time, with Vanderbilt being on your schedule and LSU being a half game back. The Arkansas softball team, again, is in town this weekend. It's an early weekend start. They'll play at 4 o'clock this Thursday at either Alabama, Mississippi State, or Missouri. It's going to be on the SEC network, the big network, so it's going to be exciting for the first time since 2010 to have the softball program playing in Fayetteville, Arkansas in the SEC tournament. So that's an awesome thing for Courtney Deifel and her team. And if you remember, the softball team won the SEC tournament last year. Baseball team won it 2 years ago, so you'd love to see them have success in Fayetteville. And I don't know, again, if an SEC tournament will be enough to get them to host. I would think that they would host both the regional and the super regional at that point. And the softball, again, that stuff will come out as of this weekend as we get ready for postseason baseball, which we expect to continue at Bogle Park. Bogle Park's going to be packed these next couple weeks, Christian. I mean, you think about the SEC tournament and then the regional and maybe a super. I think it's, again, regional's pretty set in stone at this point unless something crazy happens this weekend. Arkansas softball with a young core, young team, still finding a way to win games, just unfortunately came up short against the Tigers in Columbia this weekend.
Yeah, this will be exciting for the fans and exciting for the players, having, a packed-out Baum Stadium, with big implications. The SEC tournament's a big deal in softball, baseball, football, anything. So if you're able to win that, like you said, that improves your chances dramatically of hosting a super regional and regional. So I don't know. This is just going to be an awesome thing for the city of Fayetteville to actually have a big event like this for softball take place in your city.
Yeah, you think about how packed Bogle Park's going to be, how packed Baum Walker Stadium's going to be, in addition to the rest of the campus. Graduations start this weekend, finals week for these young men and women on campus in Fayetteville, Arkansas here, and then a lot of them will graduate. So I know that's an exciting time at church this weekend. We had Senior Sunday at Fellowship in Little Rock. So I know for a lot of you parents, a lot of you grandparents, aunts and uncles, this is a significant next couple weeks for your college kids, your high school kids, whatever the case may be. And I know that graduation is a happy and rejoiceful time for a lot of you. So best of luck in the coming weeks dealing with that as well. It is going to be packed on campus. If you are trying to go to any game this weekend, Christian, I would advise you get there earlier than you usually do because traffic is going to be crazy this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Traffic's always crazy up there when baseball's good and softball's good now. So, yeah, if you, like Ty said, get there early and pitch a 10 if you need to, right?
Yeah, there'll be get a lot of people this weekend, and with Arkansas coming off the sweep against Mississippi State, you swept them 2 years ago, and you get them this weekend again. There's going to be a lot of people at South Carolina in Fayetteville here for the South Carolina game this weekend, and deservedly so. This baseball team has earned your respect for all the turmoil, for all the injuries, for the issues that they've gone through this season. They have kept on fighting, kept on battling, and find themselves tied with Vanderbilt at the top of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, I think we've all been proud of what this team's done despite the injuries, but after this weekend, no, it wasn't a great Mississippi State team, but to go on the road in the SEC and get a sweep, that means something. And it just seems like this team's clicking at the right time. The bats are there. The pitching was good enough to win this weekend. You'd like to see it take that next step, and I think it will. I think Dave Van Horn's done a great job, and this team's going to play well towards the end. You know, you never want to count this team out. They've proven year after year that when you think they're dead in the water, they come up big.
You brought up pitching. There's one guy that I haven't mentioned this morning that I want to give credit to, and that's Zach Morris. In the final game, he pitches 3 innings, gets his first win of the season, 2 strikeouts, doesn't allow a hit. Guys, his ERA is above 8 this year. He hasn't been good. Let's just face the facts. He has not been what he thought he was going to be. That's his vantage point, his standard. He has not lived up to his own standard this year. I know it's been frustrating. I know it's been, excuse me, my allergies are coming back, but I thought he said something pretty telling after the game. Take a listen to what he had to say following his first win of the season.
I've had kind of a roller coaster season so far and just couldn't really find a groove earlier in the year, but this is where you want to get your team hot. It's this time of the year. So I'm just trying to find my way into this staff again, trying to be a reliable arm, and I'm just trying to stack up quality outings.
I think a lot of you are confident in Hagen Smith, Brady Tigert, and I think Hunter Holland, hopefully he gets, and I'm getting shin splints for those that have had him. They're not fun to deal with. Hopefully he gets back healthier because we saw what he is when he's a healthy pitcher on the mound. That's 3 guys you're pretty confident in it. And then, again, you've got Will McIntyre coming out of the pen. You've got Gage Wood. Cody Adcock, I think, has given them some good innings. But if we see Zach Morris get back into the form he was in this past year, that is going to be a really tough pitching staff. Starting pitching is essential for postseason. But when the guys get pulled or they start to get hit a little bit, you got to have some guys, not just one, not just 2, but some guys out of the pen that you can throw in any given situation, and they're going to come through for you. And again, I think he is an essential part of this roster this year. He's got to get back on track. This was a big weekend for Zach Morris as we get closer to postseason.
Yeah, you'd love to get some good innings out of Zach Morris. I know last year he struggled, I think, most of the season and then turned it on in the World Series. So he's got postseason experience. You'd love to see him just get into a rhythm and alleviate some pressure from these other arms. I think we've got enough if they can all just, do their job and back each other up. I think, like you said, Brady Tigert, Hunter Holland, Hagen Smith, those three are going to lead you to the promised land. You'd just like to get some consistency out of the bullpen.
That is going to do it for your SEC update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV, as Hot Take Monday is brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. They can handle any RV need that you have, including the new Brinkley RVs, which have been added to their lineup. If you haven't checked out this luxury fifth wheel, you need to come by and see it. It is an awesome addition to the already stacked lineup at Wheels RV. You always get the lifetime warranty at Wheels RV, so the confidence that you want on the road, on your trips in Arkansas, wherever you're going, you're going to get it from Wheels, from Lee J, from Krish, from Shane, from everyone there. They're going to give you the confidence that you need to go on these different trips. And there's a reason that they've been voted the best RV dealer year after year. Stop by and see them 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. All right, let's wrap up the show. not much on the front of Ron Holland to this point. I know we've had plenty of questions about what his status is. Haven't got confirmation. Here's what I will say about Holland that is important. At this point in time, it's thought that he has not been let out of his national letter of intent. Unless there's a recent development or that's been undisclosed to this point, that's important. Y'all, if he doesn't get out of this national letter of intent, he's not going to be able to play for Arkansas or anyone else in college. So keep an eye on that, on what Texas does, including a potential release date and when that actually is. That's the news you want to pay attention to in regards to Ron Holland. Marquise Gums recommitted to Arkansas over the weekend. The North Texas tight end had committed to the Razorbacks, decommitted to the Razorbacks last week, apparently recommitted over the weekend. So that's a position you need to have depth in. You're excited about Luke Haas. Nathan Bax, I think, is going to be a reliable blocker, but you want a guy that's played a handful of college football. He had a really good season last year for North Texas, and it's a guy that I think a lot of Arkansas fans are excited about, in addition to some of the other transfer guys that are either on campus or they're bringing in at some point. Barry Dunning found a new home in Birmingham for the UAB Blazers. He committed to them. Excited for Barry. He's going back closer to home. Wish him nothing but success heading in to his new time. I guess, say the American Athletic Conference. Is that where UAB is at? I get the, or is it maybe it's Conference USA.
I think they're going to the American maybe next year.
Okay, yeah, that's with the conference changing. It's constant switching, constant rotation. I lose track every once in a while. Games tonight. You've got the New York Knicks taking on the Miami Heat. Heat are up 2-1. The Golden State Warriors down 2-1 at Los Angeles. LeBron and company trying to go up 3-1. Last night, Philly got the better of Boston, tied that series up 2-2. And then you also had the Phoenix Suns tied up this series with the Denver Nuggets at 2-2. A couple good conference semifinals matchups that we have. By the way, as we close down here, it is National Coke Day. Want to play this commercial, maybe one of the best commercials ever to hit the airwaves. Here from me, Joe Green.
Want my Coke? It's okay, you can have it.
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay.
A Coke and a smile.
Hey, kid.
The whole world is smiling with me. Coca-Cola as life. Have a Coke and thanks, Mean Joe. Smile.
Again, maybe one of the best commercials ever written and produced. Mean Joe Green. I know they rehashed with the kid a few years back who's a grown man now, but that is one of my favorite commercials ever to exist. So have a Coke today. Enjoy it. And you actually can on campus at the athletic events now in Fayetteville, thanks to Go. Thanks to Christian. Thanks to Chuck. Appreciate everyone joining us today. Back tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas.